Christmas card was sent to you by the people at Miller High Life. Merry Christmas.
It's a one-man fire rescue station 20 miles from nowhere. Kent McCord stars as the new marshal in the exciting Pine Canyon is Burning, Tuesday at 8/7 Central and Mountain Time.
I'm Jim Simpson with Merlin Olsen, and it is 7-0 the Broncos. Rick Engels, the new punter, had his kick blocked by John Schultz. It was recovered on the 17-yard line. 4 plays later, Rob Lytle took it in from 7 yards out, and it's 7-0. And again, the special team of Denver has done a job on Pittsburgh. They've got a long way to go. 6-13 first quarter. Short kick, and it'll bounce to be taken by Jim Smith at the 10. Smith across the 20, and that's about all. Randy Rich makes the stop. Now, for those of you just joining, let's watch Rob Lytle again.
There's a beautiful block by number 32, John Keyworth, right there, sealing it off the inside. It looked like number 52 sealing off Jack Lambert, and they just blew him open right down the center. That's 41 Lytle. Boy, you think he's not happy? 6 points.
It was all set up by this.
Here's the block punch. John Schultz coming from the left side. Rick Engels a little bit slow. Schultz up with beautiful timing to that point where you can block that ball and knock it back into the kicker's face.
Eddie Cunningham is coming as a tight end and running this way with Franco Harris, and Harris loses the football out of bounds, but they say he was down at the 28-yard line. And Denver, which started Chavis, Carter, and Alzado, has now come in with an alternate unit: Bryson Manor, John Grant, and Paul Smith. And again, let's go down the lineup. For Pittsburgh, Bradshaw is the quarterback, Dwyer and Harris the running back, Swan and Stallworth are the wide receivers. And the tight end was Randy Grossman, now Benny Cunningham. Rocky Blyer, and Blyer goes out to the 30-yard line. It'll be third down and short. And this is what Pittsburgh has been trying to do, and that is run right at Denver. They figure they've got to do that if they're going to win.
Here are the guys up front who are trying to open those holes. Number 55, John Cove. The left guard, Sam Davis, the veteran, the captain, 57. Mike Webster, the center. Some call him the best in the business. Jim Clack, 50, is the right guard. Right tackle, Larry Brown, the converted tight end.
Third down and a yard to go. 7-0 Denver. 4:45 to go. First quarter. Franco Harris, and Harris is backed up as he crosses the 30-yard line. And he's got the first down. Quickly, Gene Bart, the referee, signals first down. Bill Thompson, the strong side safety, came up to make the stop.
Here's the defense for the Broncos. Barney Chavis, number 79, the left end. 68, Reuben Carter on the nose. The right end will be number 77, Lyle Alzado. Linebackers, Bob Swenson, 51. 59, Joe Rizzo. 53, Randy Gratishar, who was not expected to play today. And Tom Jackson, number 57.
And we'll remind you that those first 3 up front are not in there now. Manor, Grant, and Smith are. Franco Harris trying to get outside. Fine play made on the far side by Bernard Jackson. Jackson, the free safety, came up to cut it down.
Barney Jackson showing you why they're so happy to have him here in Denver. Let's talk about the cornerback, Louis Wright, who's already made some great plays in this game. Steve Foley, he's the one they've been trying to pick on the last few weeks, but they think highly of him here. Bill Thompson, the veteran captain, strong safety. And number 29, Bernie Jackson. You just saw him making a great play on the right-hand side over there.
Second down and 9 to go. Whoever wins this ball game will play Baltimore. If Pittsburgh wins, they play at Baltimore. If Denver wins, I should say Oakland, they play Oakland. Look out. Harris has got the football across the 30-yard line. Oakland won today, so whoever wins today will be at home against Oakland. And now we straighten out that conference.
We got that done. Randy Gratishar, number 53, playing on a badly injured ankle. You see him reacting well here, but I think it's bothering Gratishar. This is about the second time he's had dead sights on a ball carrier and just missed him. Franco Harris running right out of his grasp there, and I'll tell you, Randy Gratishar hasn't missed that kind of tackle many times during the year.
Third down and 6 to go. Swan and Stallworth, the wide receivers, have not caught a pass yet, and they're the men that Bradshaw usually goes to. He's got 3 wide receivers in there now, Bradshaw in a crowd. Gets out of the crowd. Gets by Swinson. Bradshaw got the first down at the 47-yard line. Terry Bradshaw picks up the first down.
They're blitzing Jackson from the right-hand side and trying to get a rush out of the four of them. Bradshaw back. Cannot find a receiver open. Pittsburgh line doing a fine job. Bradshaw sees an opening. Gets away from a slip tackle by Jackson. That spot Swinson coming up. Misses him. Excellent athlete. That Terry Bradshaw running like a halfback in there, Jeff.
First and 10, and this is the best field position the Steelers have had thus far today. Bradshaw to Franco Harris, and not much. Up top is Paul Smith. And we'll pick up who's down at the bottom. It looks like old Mr. Familiar, doesn't it? Randy Gradishar along with John Grant.
They're trying to trap in there. They really haven't had a chance to get going on their trapping today. And you can see the John Kolb, the tackle, coming across. They've run this play 4 or 5 times already. They're trapping on Gradishar, number 53, knowing that he's still hurt in there. They do an excellent job, though, of reacting. Everyone else comes in, and they shut that thing off clean.
Second down and 8 to go. 1:10 to go. First quarter. Chuck Noll looks on. His Steelers are happy to be here. The play action pass. Bradshaw throws. In a crowd. It's up in the air. And it's stopped. Gradishar thought he was going to have the interception, but did not. The ball was intended to Stallworth, and believe me, you've heard the expression thrown into the middle of a crowd. Well, there's an example.
One of the things we talk about when we talk about this Denver team is their ability to swarm to the ball. Look how many orange-shirted defenders are right around the ball. Ball bounced up in the air, and there must be 5 guys who have a chance. It's Gradishar finally, who's bumped just as he tries to get his hands on it. The ball goes to the ground. I'm sure Randy's very unhappy out there, Jim.
Well, I tell you, he fooled me. I didn't think he'd play today.
I didn't think he could walk watching him yesterday.
Third down. Bradshaw has time going long for Swan, and there's a mix-up there, I do believe. Wilson Terry was unloading the ball because Swan was heading in toward the middle, and Bradshaw simply threw the ball long.
I think Bradshaw saw the pressure coming in on him and just got it out of there. Knew he could get it deep, and no one would pick it off.
Oakland in overtime. In the early moments of the 6th quarter, defeated Baltimore today, 37-31. Oakland will play either Pittsburgh or Denver on New Year's Day. Angles at his last kick block, gets this one away. It is Upchurch. Upchurch, who's not going anywhere this time. 167 yards in the first game against Pittsburgh, which the Steelers lost 21-7. They've got 44 seconds to go. First quarter here in Denver, and it is the Broncos on a blocked kick. And then the run by Lytle. Have the lead 7-0.
I'm going in.
Why?
At least someone will know I tried.
I suggest we let Shockley drive right into the city. We clear the streets along his route, deploy our men, and create an impassable barrier. A gauntlet, if you will. He will have a chance.
The odds are 100-1 they won't make it, but they're willing to take that chance. Clint Eastwood, The Gauntlet, rated R. Now playing everywhere.
Sir, what's the hurry? Going to rent a car. Oh, well, you don't have to run. Gotta run. Oh, no, if you had an Avis Wizard number, you could walk. Walk? Call toll-free and let our Wizard system do the running. Just show a major credit card, license, sign, and get the car. I don't have to run through airports? Not with Avis. I can walk through airports.
We try harder, Avis, we don't know another way.
I'm walking through airports.
Exciting sports entertainment the entire family can enjoy. That's what you'll see on NBC Sports World every Sunday afternoon, beginning January 22nd.
All kinds of football excitement today, but on January 22nd, Sports World will premiere. One of the things you'll see is a tug-of-war on the island of Jersey. I had a chance to not only do that, I want to be a part of it. I think you folks out there are going to find it interesting.
John Keyworth with his first run of the day gets across the 25-yard line, and they will have second down and short. There has been no drive by either team, but there has been a drive of 17 yards. by the Broncos after they blocked the punt. Here's the Denver offense. Craig Morton, the MVP, number 7 quarterback. Lytle with that 7-yard run for the touchdown, a rookie. John Keyworth, who just carried the ball. The wide receivers, Moses and Dolvin. And excellent Riley Odoms, the tight end. Second down and about 3.5. And Odoms in motion and Lytle carrying the ball for no gain, perhaps a half a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 3. And that was Ernie Holmes who made the stop along with Jack Lambert.
On the defensive side for the Pittsburgh Steelers, we'll have to wait on that. We're breaking away.
They have to wait because that's the end of the first quarter. Talk about Bronco Mania. You can hear it. And their team leads.
Hey, great-looking treads, Cassie.
Goodrich radial TAs, Moosey.
What are you doing?
Checking the air pressure. My Goodrich dealer says it's a good idea.
What for?
Well, if you don't have the right air pressure, the tires won't last as long. Goodrich makes a great tire.
Hey, come to the game, Kathy. I could get you a ride on the Goodrich blimp.
Goodrich doesn't have a blimp, Moosey.
Does that mean you won't come to the game?
Tires you can trust. B.F. Goodrich. The other guys.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Tomorrow we go back to civilization.
And let's have a last night in the wilderness party.
I've got just what we need.
So tonight.
Hey, Nolan Brown. You've been hiding that all week. I was waiting for the right moment.
When you want the taste of a truly great beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Well, like the song says, here's to good friends.
Let it be Lowenbrow.
The new Dodge Diplomat Medallion, longer and wider than Chevy Monte Carlo. Dodge had style in mind. Velour upholstery and cut pile carpeting, we had luxury in mind. But you keep this in mind. Our two-door is $300 less than a comparable Monte Carlo Landau. Diplomat, another fine motor car from Dodge.
Dodge has put it all together. Dodge has got it all. Today's Dodge dealers got it all.
Steelers have outgained the Broncos, but that big block punt is the difference. 3rd down and 3 to go. Whoa. Wow, did Lytle take a hit? Woo! L.C. Greenwood is back.
That was L.C. putting the stick. They stunned on that side. L.C. just... Mean Joe Green coming to the outside. He handles both the blockers. L.C. comes in clean, and he makes Rob Lytle wish he'd never got a hold of that football. Unbelievable.
Our telecast today, presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Denver Broncos and the National Football League is prohibited. And there is Bucky Dills, a rookie out of Georgia, who said he was more nervous before playing in the Sugar Bowl against Pittsburgh a year ago. Jim Smith at the 32-yard line. Smith gives Pittsburgh some good field position out near the 44-yard line. And a flag is down back at the 26-yard line. And it might be, and it is, an ineligible man downfield. Let's see whether or not the Steelers will ask that they kick it over again, or with the ball across their own 40. They're going to take the play, I would assume.
That's the best field position they've
Number
had to start all day.
Ineligible downfield on punt. Refuse. First down. They're going to refuse that and let Terry Bradshaw and company take over. Well, we're just early in the second quarter. And the score is 7-0. Denver. And can you believe this weather on a Christmas Eve afternoon?
One step closer. One step closer. One step closer. That's what Exxon people say. One step closer. At the end of every day, Exxon's dedicated to finding energy for you. Energy for a strong America.
America, it's still...
Yes. First down from the 44-yard line. Pittsburgh, they trail by 7. Bradshaw going for Strong, and does not have it. Right with him at the 25-yard line.
That's the third big play of the day. On passes to Bradshaw, or from Bradshaw to Lynn Swan. And the Louis Wright, number 20, is the guy who's been there each time. Does an excellent job of reading the throw Watch him as he cuts across just in front, stretches with that front hand. I think he just, no, he didn't get to the ball, but neither did Lynn Swan.
It is second down. 5 members of Denver made the Pro Bowl. All from defense. Alzado, Gratishard, Jackson, that's Tom Jackson, the linebacker, White, and Thompson. None from their offense. Second down, 10. Franco Harris gets a yard or 2, and that is all. And it's third and long. And Tom Jackson and Lyle Alzado were right there.
The defense for Denver doing a lot of jumping around. On that particular play, Bob Swinton is probably the quickest linebacker in the league. Does a fine job of getting off Webster, the center, number 52, accelerating up into the hole to help shut that thing down for a very small gain. It's going to be 3rd and 9.
They have Chavis, Carter, and Alzado back in there as their front 3. Both wide receivers to the right. Bradshaw, lots of time. Now running out of it. Now throws, has a man wide open. Cunningham. He doesn't know what to do with it. He falls down. He was so by himself, he simply dropped the ball. But after he caught it, it's a first down. Now, fairness to Benny, he's had tonsillitis. He's been in the hospital and actually passed out on the plane coming out here. They expected him to play very little. He is woozy and looked to be a little woozy on that play.
He's got to be weak, but watch him here. He takes the pass. He's wide open. He broke away from coverage and drops the ball in the open field. Luckily able to get his hands on it again. It's going to be 1st and 10, but they could have had a few more yards, I'm sure.
Steelers have moved into Denver territory for the first time. Swan to the right, Dalvin to the left. On first down from the 36, Harris with a hole this time. Picks up 3 or 4 yards down near the 31-yard line. And it'll be 2nd down and 5. An absolutely delightful afternoon. Snow in the Rockies, but not in Denver. Temperature at game time, 43 degrees. With the wind coming out of the east, not the west, at 9 miles per hour. And this town of Denver absolutely at a standstill for this game. Second down, they try to get Harris outside. He's got blockers behind Kolb, and is knocked out of bounds, along with one of the yard linesmen. And he's a little shy, I believe, of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and about a yard to go.
One of the things that Pittsburgh said they were not going to try and do is to run wide on that 3-4 defense. But I think with Denver jumping their big man to the inside, they've had to change their strategy a little bit. They did run Franco to the outside for about a 3 or 4 yard gain. It's going to be 3rd and quite short. Let's see what Terry Bradshaw will do with this one.
Well, Red Miller's taking out Joe Rizzo, an inside linebacker, and putting in John Grant for 4 down linemen on 3rd down and short.
We've got an interesting situation. Cunningham has gone to the sideline. They sent Jerry Mullen, 72, in there. He'll be playing tight end along with Randy Grossman. And Ray Penny will be in there also on this short yardage situation.
They're loaded up on balance to the right. Ryer goes to the right, so does Michael Harris, and I don't think he got it. Davis is under all of that. Barney Chavis, number 79.
Barney Chavis got excellent penetration. Number 79, you can see it from ground level. See Chavis coming in from the other side. He's right deep in the backfield. Actually doesn't even give him a chance to make it. And he puts it down. It's going to be 4th and about a half a yard. Interesting decision for Chuck Noll.
Well, Franco Harris has already signaled to Chuck Noll, we're going for it, and Noll hasn't said anything different. So it's 4th down, less than a yard to go. 7-0, Denver, 11:23 and a half. Harris trying to get outside, 1st down and more. Inside the 20, inside the 15 goes Franco Harris. And Harris is a little shaken up. We understand we have some audio problems, but maybe you can hear Merlin Olsen talk about the run of Franco Harris.
Franco Harris getting outside, and as we told you earlier, Pittsburgh did not think they could get outside on this 34. But Franco Harris sure does it there behind some excellent blocking. That's 57, Sam Davis leading downfield for him. And that's Billy Thompson finally driving him out after a beautiful game, beautiful run by the big back.
First down at the 13-yard line for the Steelers. Early on in the ball game, capacity crowd of more than 75,000, and most of them are wearing orange. But right now it is the Steelers who are threatening with both wide receivers to the left. They send Flyer to the right as the flag goes down. Flyer ducks inside the 10 and gets down to the 8 for a gain of 5. But the flag is down back on this side of the field at the 13-yard line.
Looked to me like Bradshaw took a quick step there.
Oh, they're saying that Denver's offside.
Well, maybe that's why Denver was offside. That's going to be costly down in there. Pick up 5 easy yards, and it'll be first and 5 down on about the 8-yard line, Jim.
First and 5 at the 8-yard line. And you have heard a lot about, and I'm sure the people in Denver, matter of fact, they delivered Orange Crush kits to our hotel room, which was a drink and a T-shirt saying Orange Crush and bumper tags. They've got telephones. One of the airlines in this area is painting one of its airplanes orange. And they're singing, I'm Dreaming of an Orange Christmas. Incredible. First down and 5 to go. Bradshaw back to throw on first and 5. Looks, fires it. He's got his man at the 1-yard line. That'll be enough for a first down. Lynn Swan at the 1-yard line, tackled by Bill Thompson. First and goal to go for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You just can't give Terry Bradshaw this much time to throw. They're going with the 3-man rush. They hold him out of there. Bradshaw has time to wait and wait. Swan breaks loose, gets the ball, and they'll give him his forward progress on the 1-yard line. They're going to have 4 downs, actually from just inside the 2, to try and punch it in and even it up.
First and goal to go. Again, we will apologize. We know there's something wrong with the audio, and we're trying to clear it up. But you can watch. Flyer down close to the goal line, about the 1-yard line, and Gradishar's down at the bottom of that stack again.
We talked earlier about the fact that Randy Gradishar is playing hurt, and this is where Gradishar is usually most effective in short yardage situations. Gradishar again coming in tough to put Flyer down on the ground, finish off the tackle, and I'll tell you, that's a pretty courageous football player right there.
There is our score early in the 6th quarter. 2 extra quarters of overtime today. Oakland beat Baltimore. That's the other team in the American Football Conference Championship next Sunday. They hand the ball to Franco Harris. And the Steelers are saying touchdown, but the officials are not.
I don't think they're going to give it to him either. Franco went right into a whole mob of them.
It would be 3rd and not much at all.
And they're showing about a foot to go in there. That ball almost laid up against the end zone line. 3rd and about inches for that goal. Here's the play, the replay of that particular play. You can see how many red shirts on the inside, orange shirts, all over Franco Harris. And there it is.
3rd down. That's it. Bradshaw scores. For Terry, he has carried it in for his 4th touchdown of the year. And that was a drive that began way back on the 44-yard line. I say way back because that's the longest any team has driven in this ball game.
This is probably the surest and safest of all the short yardage plays. Bradshaw, finding out how tough that Orange Crush defense is on the ground, says, I'll get it over the top. Right up over the top, touchdown.
56-yard drive. A new holder now for Girella with Walden hurt. That is Neil Graff. And Girella's kick is up and is perfect. And with 9:01 to go in the first half, we have got a tie ball game on this Merry Christmas Eve in this AFC playoff game. Denver 7 and Pittsburgh 7.
You know what makes my jeans feel soft and comfortable? It's right here on this label. 100% cotton denim. The Lee Company knows how important 100% cotton denim is to jeans. And now they make them with a special process, so they won't shrink or wrinkle. So they stay looking neat. You see this label? Make sure you see it on your jeans. When you're looking at blue jeans, check the label. Make sure you're looking at 100% cotton denim.
We knew throughout about the nation as hurts the superstar. We got the winning combination. Super people, super cars, making that extra effort to meet your special needs. Getting you in, getting you out with super speed. Hertz, the superstar in rent-a-car. Hertz, the superstar in rent-a-car.
You know it.
It's the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, featuring the powerful Michigan Wolverines versus the high-scoring Huskies of Washington, January 2nd on NBC.
Michigan in the Rose Bowl again. Washington there for the first time in years and years. That's a great first half of our doubleheader of bowl games on Monday the 2nd. We have John Schultz, 86, and Rick Upchurch, 80 deep, as Roy Girella will kick off.
Boy, that's high. Hanging it up deep and long.
That's Upchurch at the goal line. This man is dangerous. And down he goes. And a flag is thrown from about the 45-yard line, 20-some yards, down to about the 22.
I didn't know that officials could throw the flag that far, did you, Jim?
And it is holding charged against Denver. Now, that is the second kickoff penalty for holding we've had. The first one came against Pittsburgh on the opening kickoff. And now Denver will have it marched back as Craig Morton comes in. There's the drive, climaxed by the 1-yard topple of Bradshaw over the line. When you speak of Craig Morton, you're talking about the offensive MVP, and you're talking about the catalyst of how the Denver Broncos have been turned around by Red Miller and Craig Morton. They say both names almost in the same breath.
And they do work as a team. Miller calling the plays from the sideline, but Morton having the option of rubbing off any play that he does not wish to run. In fact, as long as he has a good reason, he can take any play off either at the line or in the huddle.
Well, we have a couple of new running backs in there for the Broncos. Otis Armstrong with just 4 games, and Jim Jensen, the big rugged fullback. Jensen is 30, Armstrong 24. Ball is up the 11-yard line, and this is Jim Jensen with the football. Gets a block from Otis Armstrong, but that's a fine play by J.T. Thomas, who played off the block of Armstrong and made the stop. And as Jensen goes back, let's pause for a moment to... Marilyn, we'd like to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody, but we'd like to especially congratulate KTSB TV Topeka, Kansas. It is their 10th anniversary of serving their community as an NBC affiliate. The ball is at the 16-yard line. Second down, and that's our cameraman, believe it or not. Roger Harbaugh.
Little Christmas on the sideline.
There goes Otis Armstrong carrying for the first time in a month, and he does not get much, does he? Near the 17-yard line. Third down and more than 3 to go. Dwight White and Jack Lambert made the tackle.
Lambert, of course, one of the quickest linebackers around. I'll tell you an interesting sight out there. Maybe we can get a shot of those gold shoes on number 68, L.C. Greenwood. And I can tell you this, there are a lot of fans around the country, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, glad to see that pair of gold shoes back in the lineup.
Well, he got hurt in the Denver game 7 weeks ago. 8:13 to go. First half, it's 7-all. And it is third down. And 3 to go. And Morton's going to throw for the 3, apparently. Puts it to Jensen. Jensen probably has the first down at the 21-yard line. He's to the 21, which is where they mark it. He's got the first down. Jensen makes only his 5th catch of the year, but it's the big one.
Excellent play selection. They're running the linebackers out deep. They're getting some stunning on the inside, and I tell you this, it's a good thing that Jensen's as big as he is. He never would have been able to pull for that first down.
These two teams met once before, remember. It was 21-7. Rick Upchurch was the star of that one with all his return yards. And in that ball game, Pittsburgh turned the ball over many times. Craig Morton on first down, going, and the ball is tipped. And almost kicked out of the air by Haven Mosley. Now, once the ball is tipped, there's no pass interference. They're both going for the ball.
Excellent pressure on Craig Morton on this play. They're stunning on the inside. Joe Green going around Steve Furness. Gets the ball up. Looked like it might have been caught had the ball not been batted away. But that's excellent defense from the Steelers side.
Ham got a hand on the ball, and that made it every man for himself as it bounced crazily in the air, and Moses couldn't hold on to it.
These Pittsburgh linebackers among the most active in football, and certainly Jack Ham has to be as good as any in the business.
Second down at 10 from the 21. Otis Armstrong goes down as a couple of flags go down. Pittsburgh, we told you, lost 21-7, but the Steelers and their fans will tell you that they always play a little bit better the second time around against the ball club. Offside will be charged against the Steelers.
It looked like Dwight White jumped down to the inside and lined up offside on that particular play.
Well, as they mark it off, let us take time out to pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Number 64, encroachment, second down.
Steve Furness, they say.
That was Steve Furness, says you guessed wrong there.
I guessed wrong. Here's something I don't have to guess about. If you think that doesn't look exactly like the Franco Harris you know, you're right. He's without his beard. Made a wager with the equipment man. He lost the wager. Actually won the wager. He said, if we go to the playoffs, I'm going to take the beard off.
This is Riley Odoms, and a tackle is made on Odoms by J.T. Thomas. Very close to the first down, and they may have the first down and do have the first down.
Greg Martin back. He's got time to get that pass off, and Morton always has been an excellent thrower. And, of course, Riley Odoms probably has one of the great tight end receivers in the game of football.
37 catches before today. I don't think that Franco Harris really lost the bet. I think Tony Parisi did, and I'll tell you that story. There goes Otis Armstrong, and Furness has him. The bet was that Cincinnati would not lose to Houston, and if they did, Harris would shave off his beard, which he did. But the equipment man, Tony Parisi, had to, as his part of the bet, shave off his head. And I mean shave the hair off his head.
And he does look bad. He does look bad. I saw him in the locker room yesterday. And again, he told me, though, that Franco, he never did know that Franco's jaw was as wide as it is. He hasn't been able to see it since the 1974 Super Bowl.
Second down and 10. Horton makes it out into Odoms, and look who's on him. There's a struggle of the Titanic, isn't it? There's Jack Lambert is in there, and Jack Ham, and Ham is the man that tried to muscle him out.
Jack Ham had his hands full with big Riley Odoms. That's a little tight end screen to the big tight end. And Jack Ham was not fooled at all. Odoms watching him there, knows he's not fooled, knows he's going to have his hands full when he gets that ball. But watch big Riley just power toward the sideline, dragging number 59, Jack Ham, with him. Finally gets to the sideline, manages to make it almost back to the line of scrimmage.
Third down and 13, the ball on the 30-yard line. We've got a tie score, 6:22 to go in the first half. And Greg Morton goes back to throw to Haven Moses if he can get him, and cannot get him at the 43-yard line, and they'll have to kick the ball away. Moments ago, you saw that flasher on the screen that said that Oakland has beaten Baltimore early in the 6th quarter. They played with no score through the 5th quarter, the first of overtime, and then Stabler found Casper again. That was a big combination today, and they won it 37-31. Being the wild card, Oakland cannot play at home. They will either play here in Denver or at Pittsburgh a week from today. And this game is up for grabs. Here's Bucky Dilts. And Jim Smith is deep, standing inside his own 30. Flag goes down as the ball is kicked very short and gets out only to midfield, but the flag went down.
That's Cousineau, I think, number 60, Jim, that jumped off sides on the inside to give the officials a chance to call it. But it looked like he guessed on the count trying to block that thing and zipped right in there. And, that's Norris Weeks, number 14, coming off hobbled after trying to pick somebody up at the up back in there. They're going to have to change somebody in there to protect that punter.
Norris Weeks also, of course, is the holder for extra points. There you can see what
There
happened.
it is on the inside. And it is Cousineau, number 60, who is offside. Weeks, by the way, they'll miss not having him in there. He ran for a big gain out of that punt formation against San Diego 2 weeks ago. And it was Weiss, who's also the holder on the field goal, who threw that big touchdown pass early in the year against Oakland to none other than Jimmy Turner.
Fourth down now, and about 7 to go. Hiltz gets another high kick away. Smith, no fair catch then, calls for 1 all year, and down he goes inside the 35. The mark is the 34-yard line. This is like, after seeing the Baltimore game with Oakland today, I didn't think we could have one as good, but we do. 5:58 to go. We're in the half, and you guessed it, it's all tied up. Denver 7 and Pittsburgh 7.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. The people who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
Sports World. It's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Speaking of Sports World, you can't help but wonder what kind of show it's going to be with my good friend Jim Simpson in the tub there, talking to one of the skiing racers and an unidentified party.
That's Joseph Oderfont, and the girl's name is Cindy, and that's doing the pro skiing in Aspen, Colorado, and that's what we call getting involved with events, gentlemen.
Getting right in there.
First down from the 34-yard line. Rocky Flyer, and Flyer picks up 5 yards.
One of the
out there to the 39.
Excuse me, Jim. One of the big battles in that line of scrimmage between Webster and Reuben Carter, the nose man. And early in the game, Carter has been taking the worst of the battle. Webster, I think, one of the finest blocking centers in football. You can see him moving Carter right out of there, getting the angle on him and driving him down the field. And they got to shore up the middle if they're going to keep Pittsburgh from both moving that football.
Second down and 5 from the 39. Bradshaw taking it outside himself. This is the planned play, and gets near the first down. They'll mark it at the 44-yard line, and that should be enough for the first down. Run out of bounds by Bob Swenson, the left outside linebacker on the far side. Now they're bringing the ball back in and marking it at the 43, and that's not going to be enough.
It looks like they're just a little short of it, but for those who thought that Terry Bradshaw was hurt, certainly he disproved that today, running the ball very effectively, getting a touchdown over the top, and now taking off on a prearranged rollout to the outside.
Well, he has been hurt. We all know that broken left wrist early on in the season. And then the sprained neck suffered last week. Third down and short yardage, and they're bringing in Mullins and all the short yardage folks. But Denver's done an excellent job on short yardage formations. They load him up again to the right. That's the way that Harris has been going. This time he comes to the left, and he's got it out to the 45-yard line. First down for the Steelers. They loaded it up to the right, but went to the left. Randy Podell is in there now. Foley is out. Jackson has moved to a cornerback spot.
One of the biggest, most powerful backs in football, Franco Harris, and he just puts his head down, and he's going to drive it all the way in. Excellent block in there to spring him on Randy Gradishar. Probably one of the other backs coming up inside. I couldn't tell who it was. Probably had to be Rocky Flyer, number 20.
First down. Remember, Bernard Jackson is filling in for Foley at the right cornerback spot, and Randy Podell has gone in as his free safety. Oh, my, what a hit by Cunningham, and it's down. Ball is loose and intended by Denver, but they're saying no, it's an incomplete pass. Incomplete pass.
And Cunningham is hurt, it looks like.
Vaughn is leading the cheers.
I think he's pointing that Cunningham is hurt. He was waving for the trainer. Let's give you another look at it. Bradshaw back, has time to throw. Cunningham is wide open, but watch the shot he takes right there. Ooh.
The ball is jumping around there.
That's Tom Jackson, number 57, who hit him. Gradishar comes in and finishes it off. The official simply said he did not have control of it, and he's still down on the field. Boy, he took a pop.
It has been a tough, there's Tom Jackson, one of the Pro Bowlers. It's been a tough week for Denny Cunningham. a second-year man out of Clemson, hospitalized with tonsillitis, fainted on the plane, wasn't expected to play much today at all. Did not make that catch. It's second down and 10. And he is still down. At halftime today, we have NFL 77. And we'll have interviews with Ken Stabler and Dave Casper. If the names are familiar, you know that they're the ones who won it for Oakland today in overtime and also put some points on the board during the regulation game. And of course, we'll have action highlights of this game, Pittsburgh and Denver. Cunningham is still down and out at the 47-yard line.
Baltimore was able to shut Casper out early in that ball game, but to come back and catch 3 touchdown passes certainly has to mark him as the player of that game. Good sign here on the field as Cunningham is up, and he has to be weak. He spent those 3 nights in the hospital, Jim. I don't imagine he felt good coming in, and to take a shot like that from Tom Jackson, take what little starch there is in him out of it.
Second down and 10 to go from the 45-yard line. 7-7 our score, 4:35 left. Cunningham, a top draft choice out of Clemson. And the supporters of the Iron Crush disagree with the call, naturally. Swan goes to the left, and Stallworth comes out to the right. Bradshaw, Jackson is blitzing, gets away, fires the ball, it is dropped. Almost caught on what would have been a fine catch by Lynn Swan at the 37-yard line, but again, the Denver Broncos are swarming to the football.
That's about as tough a pass as I think there is to throw for a quarterback. Bradshaw was running to his right. Swan was running back against the grain to the left, which means he has to judge the speed of both the players. Watch Bradshaw coming out here. Actually throws on the run and throws it back to Lynn Swan, who's going the opposite direction. Manages to put it on target. That's an excellent play by Randy Podol, number 21, to strip it out of Swan's hands.
Cunningham with a little oxygen. This is the Mile High City, remember. Both Swan and Stallworth go to the right. It's third down and 10 in a 7-7 ball game. Wire in motion, and Franco Harris not going anywhere. He's lost the football. Lost it again. Jackson picks it up and is brought down from behind by Larry Brown. And that's the second big turnover for Denver. They scored after a block kick, and now they picked up a ball.
That was number
to the 10, and Franco Harris is down.
And number 77, Lyle Alzado, who put the stop on him to originally cause the fumble, comes off holding his arm. Let's give you a look at it now. It's Harris on a little draw play, and that's Alzado breaking back inside. Actually knocks the ball loose. Gradishar gets a hold of it. He pops it loose, and it's Tom Jackson who picked it up on the first bounce, launches himself downfield, almost gets into the end zone. Great play by Larry Brown to pull him down from behind.
Well, they fumbled the ball away twice in their first meeting, and now they fumbled it away here. It has been a blocked punt and a fumble that has put Denver in business. That is Otis on the very big Chuck Knowles said they had to avoid the turnover has cost them in this ball game. And the Iron Crush. Weiss is coming back on to hold limping. The Orange Crush is out in front. And you can say it's the Orange Crush that is out in front because it's the defense that's done it.
They sure set up that touchdown, but I'll say this, I don't think there's a team in football that takes advantages of their opportunities any better than the Denver Broncos. You've seen it twice today. 2 big turnovers, 2 breaks. They've managed to get those 7 points on the board both times.
Weiss holding, Jim Turner, the kicker. The kick is up and perfect. And again, Denver leads by 7. It's 14-7. Denver, in its first playoff in its 18-year history, out in front of the Steelers, who are their 6th consecutive playoff. Otis Armstrong, after missing 4 weeks, did not look like he was a bit rusty here.
Beautiful play inside. Mean Joe Green is stunning with number 63 Holmes. And they just did not get the hole closed on the inside. Otis Armstrong doing a great job of picking the hole, breaking free, waltzing into the end zone. Got to be a happy. Let's see it again. There's Green stunning inside. Ernie Holmes, number 63, trying to cover on the backside, just unable to do so. And they got Jack Lambert, which you have to do if you're going to run inside. There goes number 24, Otis Armstrong, into the end zone.
The Denver marchers have been up 17 yards after the blocked punt and 10 yards after the fumble. The Steelers earned their 7 points the hard way, going 56 yards before Bradshaw went over from the 1-foot line. But that's the kind of football that Denver plays, as Merlin said. Opportunity knocks, so they open the door and then slam it in your face. That's why they're 12-2.
It's interesting, Jim, when you look at statistics for this Denver Broncos team, they don't really have that many more first downs than their opposition. They don't have that much more yardage, but they do have almost, in fact, more than twice as many points as their competition. The reason is because they know how to get that ball into the end zone.
Jim Smith says this is fine and has it at the 7-yard line. 20, 30, takes a hit, still on his feet, and out to the 35-yard line. 28-yard run back by Jim Smith. 4:04 to go in this half, 14-7. Next Sunday, of course, the AFC Championship game, and as we told you, it's going to be Oakland, either going to Pittsburgh or coming here to Denver. Denver's got the best record in the AFC. At Pittsburgh, since Baltimore, another division win, has been knocked out, Oakland has to go to either Pittsburgh or Denver. And so the time depends on which city they play on. Manor, Grant, and Smith again the front three. And Bradshaw to throw and has at Stallworth, and Stallworth takes a rugged hit at the 41-yard line. I mean a rugged hit. Bradshaw really put a blast on it.
Well, they say that this Orange Crush defense knows how to swarm. You saw it right there with Stallworth taking shots from 3 or 4 different people. A couple of interesting problems developing on the Denver bench. Steve Foley out with a head injury. They don't know whether he'll be back in. And Alzado has a slight injury to his elbow. We saw him coming off after he reached over and grabbed a hold of Franco's arm to force that fumble on that very important turnover.
Second down. And about 3 to go. Quick. Back to Harris. Franco Harris flying for the first down and will be very close. Louis Wright ran him out of bounds.
We talked about the swarming pursuit of this Denver Broncos team. To get an idea also of their team speed, look how many of those orange shirts are flying to the outside. I'll tell you, again there, you get an indication of the problems that Gradishar is having driving off that sore ankle of his. Normally, he has enough speed to come inside out and make that tackle comfortably. He wasn't able to get Franco until Franco was almost in for a first down. It'll be a tight 3rd and 1 in there.
4 down linemen in there now on 3rd down and a little bit less than 2 yards to go. Franco Harris has the first down and more, getting out to midfield where it's first down. Clock continues to run, 3:05 left here in the first half.
That's the most unusual play on the inside. Number 72, Moon Mullins, actually pulls from an outside flanker position, comes in to trap Gradishar on the inside. Do a beautiful job of getting Franco through for the first down. Most unusual play.
Swan goes to the right. Swan's partner, Stallworth, comes to the left. Bradshaw on first down has time, throws it to Blyer, incomplete. Blyer was at the 45, bounced high off his hands. Blyer sat out last week. He didn't play because of a hamstring problem. And Terry Bradshaw today only 5 of 14 for 46 yards. He's had to throw a couple away while under tremendous pressure.
Randy Gradishar has got to be asking, why me? He's been in on almost every play. They just keep coming at him, hoping that he'll break. On that play, he was isolated one-on-one on the back out of there, and certainly did a fine job of keeping the completion from going to Rocky Blyer.
Franco Harris already has 60 yards rushing the ball. Second down and 10. Bradshaw has time, delivers it to Stallworth, who's got the football inside the 30-yard line. The marker right at the 30. First down as we come close to the 2-minute mark. 2 minutes, 29 seconds to go. And again, Gradishar, to use your words, Vernon, saying, why me? He was over there again.
Well, they're still picking on that left side. We told you that Steve Foley was out of there, and Randy Podol is coming in his place. Bradshaw doesn't waste any time giving him a challenge over there. And that's actually Jackson, who's right on top of number 82, Stallworth, who certainly has had a great year, his best year ever. Jackson's up on the corner, and Podol has gone in at safety.
First down and 10 to go from the 30-yard line. Bradshaw throwing on first down, loops it to Franco Harris, cuts back, and Harris picks up big yardage inside the 25, down near the 22-yard line, where it will be second down and short. Just doesn't look the same without Franco's beard, does it, when he gets up?
I'll tell you, he still looks mighty big, though, when he's running that football at you.
We may not get the next play off before the 2-minute warning. It's 2:05 to go and counting. The ball is at the 22-yard line, where it is second down and a long 2 to go. And so there's the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go, and Denver's Orange Crush has done the job thus far. Their defense has set up 2 touchdowns, and the Broncos lead. Look, there's an orange plane. It's 14-7.
This road safer for drivers can be dangerous for painters. That's why one painting firm uses a loss prevention program recommended by the Hartford. So now their jobs are safer because the Hartford helps reduce accidents. In fact, there hasn't been a single injury in 9 months. And when losses go down, rates don't have to go up. How could loss prevention help your business? Ask the Hartford and its independent agents, because the best protection is prevention.
For the past 10 years, Dodge has been the fastest growing truck company in America. One reason is the D100 pickup. It delivers Dodge toughness and comfort. Yet at just $41,447, it's the lowest priced base pickup built in America. Lower than Ford, lower than Chevy.
Dependable and versatile, beautiful machines. Dodge is into pickups like America's into jeans.
See the best in college basketball as the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame take on the powerful Kentucky Wildcats. A classic matchup next Saturday afternoon on NBC.
What a way to start our basketball season, isn't it? Notre Dame and Kentucky. You want to see some statistics, or at least hear them? Pittsburgh has picked up 161 yards thus far. Denver, a total of 50. But 27 of those yards have been the 2 touchdown drives after the blocked punt and the fumble recovery. Second down, a long 2 to go. The ball on the 22-yard line, and 2 minutes left in the half. Franco Harris gets up the middle, comes back against the grain. That's what he loves to do. Breaks the tackle inside the 10. Harris went out of bounds at the 4-yard line. And that will be another first down. Franco Harris, how many times have you seen and heard people talk about the way he cuts back against the grain and breaks tackles?
Absolutely, probably the best thing that he does. You watch him here, he starts to the right, can see that there's nothing there to be gained. And the Denver defense has reacted so swiftly to the outside that he just cuts it all the way back against the grain. Here's a shot of Jackson coming from the outside. He's actually the contained man. And Franco cuts inside of Jackson. Now watch Jackson come back into your picture, sprinting hard to the outside. It's actually Jackson that finally puts him out of bounds.
On the 3-yard line. First and goal to go. Franco Harris does not get the touchdown. Gradishar and Thompson are down there. And Harris is awfully close to that goal line, isn't he?
Boy, he's laid up almost on top of it. Could be second down at about half a yard. There's a timeout down on the field for Pittsburgh.
Now, Foley, who was injured slightly, is coming back in, and Podol is looking, and so Podol will come out as we take a look at Harris almost getting the touchdown.
Almost into the end zone, as you said, Jim. Gradishar and Billy Thompson, the fine safety, in there to make this stop, but not until he laid it up on about the half-yard line. And that's tough territory down in there. I'll tell you, with 2-3 downs probably, it's going to be hard for the Orange Crush defense to keep the Steelers out of that end zone.
Can you believe it took into the 6th quarter before Oakland could beat Baltimore in the first AFC playoff, and it could be 14-all here at the half of this game. Coverage begins on Monday, January the 2nd, of the Rose Bowl. Kurt and John will be out there, Gotti and Brody, and of course it's Michigan, 10-1 against Washington, 7-4. But remember, Washington played very well in the closing weeks of the season. Rick Leach and Hanan Huckleby of Michigan, and of course the Huskies have a fine linebacker, Michael Jackson, and a quarterback by the name of Warren Moon.
It's got to be an exciting time for Michigan. They have been there a few times, but even more exciting for the Seattle people and the Huskies who are coming down from Washington for the first time in many, many years.
Second down, inches to go. Bradshaw took it himself for the first one. There goes Blyer. Here goes Franco Harris. Touchdown. Harris takes it in. This is a drive of 65 yards, starting on the 35-yard line. 2 long drives for Pittsburgh, and 2 special team touchdowns set up by the Orange Crush.
And these Pittsburgh Steelers know how to quiet down these 75,000 Denver Bronco fans. That's Gradisher who's trying to hold Franco out of the end zone. Franco just turns his body around and backs in there.
Durella tries to tie it up and does tie it up. It is 14 all. There's a flag on the field, but I would assume that is because one of the Broncos was a little bit anxious. We'll let Gene Barth tell us that.
Defense, number 20, offside. Point good. Will penalize on the kickoff.
And that's it. Lewis Wright was the man who was offside trying to block that extra point.
Trying to get that little jump in there, and they did get good penetration, but obviously not a block.
14-14, and the Orange Crush at Denver has gone mad. And I understand that a man who helped put this team together, most of the team together, who is no longer with the ball club, last year's coach John Ralston. And I would assume that John Ralston is looking on right now, and he must have mixed emotions.
I'm sure he's very happy for his players. Ralston, who was my coach in college, Jim, a very interesting man, and did a fine job of putting this team together. Things just were not working that well, and Red Miller sure capitalized on his opportunities to take a ready-made team who had gone 9-5 last year for their best record ever, bring them on to a 12-2 season and their first playoff berth here today. And they're not doing badly today.
Well, as Frank Morton said, I walked into the office when they traded for me, and Red Miller said, we got a 9-5 team that can go places, and I want you to help us. And Morton said, that's my kind of man. That's Franco Harris without the beard, but with 81 yards rushing and a touchdown already in this 14-14 game.
Losing that Harris doesn't seem to have taken any strength away from him. He's sure been powerful out there. I think he's got 88 yards so far on the day, Jim.
From the 40, because of the 5-yard penalty, Durella will kick it off from the 40. And Upchurch and Schultz are deep. Durella line drives this a little bit, and Upchurch takes him to the 4-yard line. He's a very dangerous man, and then runs into Cousineau, the former Cincinnati Bengal, who knocks him down at the 21-yard line. But it'll be 1st and 10 to go. We talked about the Orange Bowl, or rather the Rose Bowl. Let's talk about the Orange Bowl, Merlin, where you and I will be. Oklahoma and Arkansas. And Arkansas is having some problems now. Lou Holtz is standing fast. Perhaps, we don't know. That'll be worked out by the time they get down to the Orange Bowl, but we do know one thing, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's tough. Oh, they are tough. That's going to be a fine game, Jim. I'm looking forward to being there with you.
From the 24-yard line where they've marked it. 1:36 left in the half of a tie ball game. Otis Armstrong almost hit in the backfield, and now is hit in the backfield by Jack Lambert. The first man to get him was L.C. Greenwood, and then Lambert put him down.
Excellent inside-out pursuit by Lambert, but it was Greenwood who really cut in underneath Otis and kept him from getting quickly to the outside and made it possible.
Armstrong did have that 10-yard touchdown run, but Rob Lytle started the day, and he is injured.
He has a neck problem, and apparently they're concerned enough about it that they have kept him on the sideline. I can see him walking around down there, though. It's possible we'll see him later in this game.
There was a tremendous hit that he took that put him on the sideline.
By number 68, L.C. Greenwood, as a matter of fact.
2nd down and 15 to go. And Armstrong isn't going anywhere. L.C. Greenwood is there again. And this is a loss back to the 16-yard line.
Probably the best defense against a draw play is a stunt by the tackle in the end. You see Green going to the outside, L.C. Greenwood going to the inside. Nobody to block Greenwood. He just sticks Armstrong in the backfield and knocks him down. Watch Joe Green here. He's a little unhappy. Watch. Woo!
Oh, my.
That's Paul Howard, number 60, taking a shot right there. And I don't know what Joe is thinking about, but that's Howard who's on the ground. And I think maybe somebody is being escorted off the field here.
It is Joe Green who's going off the field. I don't know if he is being called off the field. He has not left the field yet, or whether he was sent off the field. But he is a catalyst on defense, and they might be just talking defenses to him over there, but that is Joe Green, and look at this. That's what is known as a right uppercut, folks.
Well, I tell you, he put Paul Howard right down to the ground, and he hasn't moved yet. And that just doesn't have a place out on the football field.
And there's been no flag thrown whatsoever that I have seen. They're still talking on the field, and Green apparently is on his way back in. They're calling him in, and Howard is still down. know, they call Joe Green Mean Joe Green, and yet most people will tell you he's one of the most gentlemen around.
He is a very quiet, gentle man.
Eloquent in his speech, but on that particular occasion,
he hates to be held, Jim, and I think maybe Paul Howard had a hold of him, and Joe reacted with that punch. But as I said earlier, I just don't believe that that kind of thing has a place in the game. It's tough enough just playing by the rules without swinging those fists on the field.
Red Miller is making his feelings known to Gene Barth, the referee. And Howard is coming off. Well, there are a few being set up there, aren't there? Steve Schindler, our #1 draft choice. They've got big hopes for him out of Boston College. Will take Howard's place.
Mike Butler over there explaining things to Joe Green, saying, hey, that's not the way we play the game.
We have 47 seconds to go in the half. It's 14 apiece. Well, the spotlight is on you, Joe. Everybody around the country has seen it.
Not the kind of thing you'd have like to have recorded for posterity, Jim.
No. Morton looks like he's about, whether he's asking for the time is in or he wants another time. He looks a little confused. Turned around to the referee who's set up behind there. And now, well, he's still talking to him. He might look at the fact that the clock is down to 0 already and wants a 30-second clock. Well, he let it run down, but nothing went off the clock up here. It was 47 seconds when Howard was hurt, and it's 47 seconds now. It might be different on the field.
They've moved Steve Schindler in at left guard and moved Tom Glassick, number 62, over to right guard.
Delay a game, violation of the 30-second count, third down.
Well, I think Craig was looking at the clock upstairs, which did not move, and is still not moving, even though the 30-second clock is on again to get it in play after a timeout. That's what it is. So the clock will not start until the ball is snapped. This is Otis Armstrong, and there's a flag down as there's movement in the line, and Armstrong gets out near the 19-yard line.
Looks like Ernie Holmes, number 63, a little eager, jumps to the inside, penetrated the line of scrimmage. Interesting to see what they'll do here, whether they'll take the penalty and run another play or punt it out of there. Probably run another play to run some time off that clock. Yeah.
40 seconds to go. There's your Bronco mania.
Oh, they're chanting, we want green. They're not. I don't think I'd want to have 75,000 enemies.
Third down. And 17 to go.
Third down.
Pittsburgh with 2 long drives. Has scored touchdowns by Bradshaw and Harris. And the Orange Crush, which is a defense, has set things up. The special teams blocked a punt that led to a touchdown, and they recovered a fumble that led to a touchdown. Otis Armstrong in a gaggle of people, and down he goes, and the clock continues to run, and a flag goes down again.
And they're talking to me, Joe Green, number 75. I'd say there's some hot people on that field right now. Let's see what they're going to do.
You know, it's an announcer's idea sometimes to say, don't go away, because things will get better in the second half. I don't have to say it.
Personal foul. Let's take a look on the inside. There's Joe on the inside. He's being double teamed by Mottler and 62. There's a little extra activity there between. Ooh. Now it looks like somebody else is swinging, but they marched it off against Joe Green. He's not very happy about that. Looked like Mottler took the swing that time.
Number 75, personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, first down.
Well, if I could see that again, I thought I saw Green take a swing before Mottler missed.
Well,
let's see.
There
Green shoot with his right here.
There it was.
Right there.
There's another shot. Sure enough. I guess they didn't penalize Mottler because he missed.
First down, and there goes Keyworth trying to get outside, and Lambert goes to fumble the ball, and Green goes for it, and it belongs to the Steelers. Joe Green gets up with the football. With 26 seconds left, the ball inside the 45-yard line of Denver.
They're saying school it on the sideline over there. Here's a shot of Green as he's being blocked on the inside. Excellent pursuit from the big fella as he gets outside. Happens to be right there when the ball pops loose from Keyworth. Picks it up, says, I'm going the other way. Tom Glassick says, no, you're not. He's going to bulldog him to the ground.
Talking to Green along the sideline.
That's George Perlis, the defensive line coach, telling him to pull it over there.
First down, Bradshaw goes back, flips is on. Bradshaw steps up, fires for Swan. It is intercepted by Lewis Wright. Oldest Escobar Jackson was ripped down from behind at the 30-yard line. Lamar Jackson with 15 seconds left. And we've got a wild one.
Here's a shot of John Stallworth, 82, the intended receiver going downfield. Jackson just read it all the way, didn't move, picked it up, starts to bring it back, loses his footing, but manages to make a few yards, runs the clock down to where we only have 15 seconds in the first half. Here's Chuck Knoll on the sideline. You better believe he's not happy. He'd like to see a few more points on the board. Look at that.
Looks like my boss. First down, 30-yard line. Morton now tries to put something up. Goes long down the sidelines, and the ball is tipped away, intended for Jack Dolman. Jim Allen was down there, and a spill down, but we'll get up. And there's 7 seconds left in this hectic first half. NFL 77. We'll have some of the highlights of this game. And Terry Bradshaw's wife, who is the figure skater JoJo Starbuck, has been performing at ringside, Rockefeller Plaza. Perhaps she'll be on the ice again at halftime. I wonder if she's watching right now. I'm sure she is.
I bet she's watching with great interest. They'll also have an interview with the two heroes of that Oakland win. Fine tight end Dave Casper and, of course, excellent quarterback Kenny Stabler.
14 apiece. And this is Frank Morton is going to fall down, and they'll just touch him right there as 2 seconds, 1 second. Wow, what a first half it has been. Special teams, defense of Denver scored. The offense of the Steelers has scored. It's 14-14. That's the end of the half. Here at Denver, Colorado. On a Merry Christmas Eve.
The Denver Broncos have a new enthusiasm this year to go with our newly expanded stadium. But there's one thing we have that isn't new, our great fans. Hello, this is Jim Turner, and I'd like to show you my home, Denver, Colorado. It's called the Mile High City and sits at the base of the Rockies. It's an outdoors town, the capital of sunshine and skiing. They hear concerts in a theater of giant red rocks created by the Ice Age. Downtown, business is booming, but Denver remains a friendly, informal town. You know, Colorado had just become a state, and Buffalo Bill was still kicking when the United Way was founded here in Denver in 1887. We're very proud of that. Proud of the volunteers who work in the Red Cross, Girl Scouts, Travelers Aid, and all the other agencies that are part of the United Way today. Denver and America wouldn't be the same without them. For all our volunteers, we'd like to say, thanks to you, it works. For all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement furnishes a public service by the National Football League. The fans here and some of the players are hot. They went on the field. They went after Joe Green, who's been let off the field. Some of the Denver players went out, and some of the Steeler players met them. There were no blows exchanged at all, but here's what happened right here. And Red Miller is out there.
He's right in the middle of it.
He's right in the middle of it, and that's
George
Harris.
George Perlis, the defensive line coach, trying to get everybody out of there. Boy, that's some hot feelings and some high emotion here on that field today.
Wow. Well, let us get in the Christmas spirit, for heaven's sake. Huh? Why don't we get in the Christmas spirit? We've got a big gang of folks out here. We're out here for NBC, and we're all get together. We've got the spirit, folks. 1, 2, 3, go. Happy Holidays! We'll join NFL 77 after these messages from your local station. Don't miss that second half.
Your favorite Disney characters send Christmas greetings from all of us to all of you. Then, The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, the tale of a young Bruin's search for Christmas. Next, the animated musical special, Noah's Animals, about the perilous journey of the Ark. Disney, The Bear Who Slept Through Christmas, and Noah's Animals, tomorrow starting at 7, 6 Central Time on NBC.
There are many new-size personal cars, but this is the car that started it all. Chrysler LeBaron, a Chrysler of fine detail, with the option of genuine leather seating. Yet LeBaron is a medium-price road car with impressive gas mileage. So before you look at Grand Prix, Monte Carlo, or Cutlass, look at a new leader. The new Chrysler LeBaron.
For the best of everything, see your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Mother worries I don't get enough interest, but I just found a money manager. It's the money manager savings account from Pittsburgh National Bank. Now I get day in, day out interest on my savings, right where I do my other banking. Mother, I've got a money manager.
Money manager? When do I meet him?
No, it's the money
Day in, day out interest at Pittsburgh National Bank.
There are a lot of nice young men at that bank, Brenda.
Happy holidays from 11 Alive, WIIC-TV, Pittsburgh.
Hello and welcome back to NFL 77. Bryant Gumbel along with Mike Adamley. It's 14-14 Denver and Pittsburgh at the half. Earlier today, in case you missed it, Oakland and Baltimore staged simply one of the greatest games ever played. In the second overtime, the Raiders are winner 37-31. For the fifth straight year, Oakland is in the AFC Championship game. Let's catch up on some of the highlights early on. It was the passing game that came to the fore. In the second half, Oakland came in trailing 10-7, but this is Stabler looking for a guy named Branch, Mike.
Branch has an amazing ability to go deep, and he makes a fantastic catch. Muncie had him covered pretty well.
That one got him in a position for Dave Casper to catch the first of 3 touchdown scores. Where's Simonini?
Casper was bottled up effectively in the first half, but he really went crazy second time.
Now, right there, Oakland took the lead, but then they kicked off to this young man, Marshall Johnson. And if you like your runs long distance, try this one on for size. About 87 yards for a touchdown. Baltimore goes out in front, 17-14. But then Stabler again calls on his number 87, Dave Casper.
Casper comes across the middle this time. He's got all kinds of time to throw. Great job by the offensive line. There's Casper in the end zone.
That made it 21-17 after Baltimore came back for a score. This time it was Banasek, 28-24. And then in the fourth quarter, Ron Lee gets what appears to be a pretty easy touchdown to put Baltimore out in front. Right, good run by the young man.
Lee has been been spelled by Roosevelt leaks in the last couple of weeks, but he really had a good game in the second half.
But then the guy who'd been doing it all day long, Dave Casper, again, this time not for a touchdown, but simply for a super reception. On the day, he had 4 catches for 70 yards, 3 touchdowns. This one, in the clutch moments in the fourth quarter, set up the field goal that tied the game.
Casper's some kind of athlete. That one he caught over his shoulder, and he just does it all.
Tough game. Bert Jones suffered a broken toe and damaged ribs. On hand for the game were Lee Leonard and Len Dawson. Lenny has an interview with Ken Stabler. Lee has one with Dave Casper. Let's take a look at those talks right now.
Kenny, a birthday present a day before Christmas, your birthday. Give me your impressions of the ball game.
Well, it was. I think it was worth a $10 ticket to come see it. It's 2 well-matched teams, and I have a lot of respect for Baltimore. They hung in there and they scored every time we scored. And I just like to say that our offensive line did a hell of a job. I mean, the sack pack was, they're a well-known group, and I guess they led the NFL in sacks. And our guys did a hell of a job of keeping them out of there. A couple of great third down catches by Cliff Branch, by Freddie, and it's a team type thing. It takes 40-something guys to win, and I think that's what we did today. Our special teams played well when they had to, and our defense stopped them when they had to, and the offense scored when we had to, and it's kind of a team type thing, and it's a good Christmas present for everyone.
Congratulations, a great victory.
Thank you, Lenny.
Dave, they shut you out in the first half, 2 touchdowns in the second half. What were you thinking about during the overtime?
I thought I wished we would have won in the game time. That's what I didn't. It was, you try not to think about anything besides what you got to do out there.
Did you see the overtime as more or less a punting duel that Ray Guy won for you?
Well, I mean, that's for all the armchair quarterbacks to figure out. I really didn't see much, but when I was on the field, because you come off the sidelines and, I watch the defense because I'm nervous, but, I really don't try not to think too much about except what I think they're going to do to us when we go out there again. You don't have too much room up there for any extraneous type thought.
When you came into this game, did you feel it was going to be this rough a game? Because it certainly was an exceptional game on both sides.
And I really had no idea what would happen out there, and I really didn't care as far as how the game went, winning and losing, I think that's for coaches and people to worry about. I always believe that you just concentrate on your assignments during the week, and when you come out in the game, you try and do those the best you can, and at the end of the game, you look up in the scoreboard.
And it was in your favor. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
So Oakland in the championship game one more time. We're going to take a look at the first half of that Denver-Pittsburgh game, but first a seasonal note. As you can tell, we're at Rockefeller Plaza here in Manhattan. We thank the lovely people of Manhattan for sharing their Christmas spirit with us. In turn, we have had the opportunity to share JoJo Starbuck with them. She, of course, the lovely figure skating champion, wife of Terry Bradshaw.
The sun is shining, the grass is green, the orange and palm trees sway. There's never been such a day in Beverly Hills, L.A. But it's December the 24th, and I am longing to be up north.
In clutch situations, but number 88, Lynn Swan. They've taken this act on the road before. Down to the 1 yard line. From there, Terry decided to do it himself, and JoJo cheered him on. Terry right over the top right there for the game tire. And then things got kind of hectic in the final moments. Denver went back out in front when Otis Armstrong, for about 10 yards, got a lot of swiftness, Michael.
And Otis hasn't started the last 4 games for Denver, but his presence in the Denver lineup gives him a little more speed, a little more quickness.
Okay, and then before the half was out, here's Franco Harris tying it up. For him, 23 carries, 81 yards. It's been a big half. So it stands at 14-14. We'll look forward to a second half, and since it appears unlikely that we'll get back after the ball game, let me take this opportunity for all of us in front of and behind the cameras here on NFL 77 to wish all of you out there the very safest and most peaceful of all holidays. Be good to yourself and take care of yourself for another year, because we want you back. We'll be ready for the second half kickoff after these messages from your local stations.
And out in the field, Pittsburgh and Denver are testing their wills. But for you at home, you should have no fear. For tomorrow's Christmas, the best day of the year. To you and yours, happy holidays.
On The Bionic Woman, Jamie joins a convent where they don't count their blessings but their profits.
How much would a barrel of heroin be worth?
Then In Search of Noah's Ark examines new evidence that the Ark of the Bible did exist. The Bionic Woman, tonight at 8, 7 Central, and In Search of Noah's Ark at 9, 8 Central.
Families, they're beautiful. Whether it's pitching in to make breakfast or saving for that new home, there isn't anything they can't accomplish together. We know we're First Federal Savings of Pittsburgh, the people who make it our business to put your family first.
And it's good to wake up knowing your family fortune's growing at First Federal Savings and Loan.
You can see flamenco dancing in a lot of countries, but for authentic flamenco, Spain's the only place.
There's really only one place for beer, too. That one and only Genesee Brewery, where they brew Scott Phoenix's favorite beer, Genesee.
I wish I could get Genesee in Spain.
Just like you have to go to Granada for flamenco, you have to be in one place here in Genesee country for beer. Genesee beer. Our one brewery makes it best.
Season's greetings from 11 Alive, WIIC TV, Pittsburgh.
This National Football Football League AFC Divisional Playoff game is brought to you by Dodge. We invite you to come in and see why today's Dodge dealers got it all. Cotton Incorporated, the fiber company of American cotton products. By the Hartford and its independent insurance agents and brokers. And by Schlitz Light Beer. It took Schlitz to bring the taste to life. Our score is 14-14. You saw what was happening at the end of the first half. We anticipate the beginning of the second half, and we'll come back for the second half after this.
Schlitz Light. Schlitz Light beer has a third fewer calories than our other fine beer, and all the taste beer drinkers expect from Schlitz.
Is that what that guy always drinks?
That's his beer. It's the only light beer with gusto.
I'll have a Schlitz Light.
Make it two.
Beer drinkers know it took Schlitz to bring the taste to light.
Catch all the action and excitement of the Orange Bowl game as the powerful Oklahoma Sooners take on highly rated Arkansas, Monday, January 2nd on NBC.
I'm Jim Simpson with Merlin Olsen, and with what's been going on here, we just want a little Christmas spirit.
A little Christmas.
Say ho, 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 or something.
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. We'd like to see it shape up a little on the field, too.
Oh, my, I hope so. Because this man right here, Joe Green, was a catalyst for a penalty, the boos of the crowd. Some of the crowd spilled onto the field at the end of the first half. Tried to go after him. The coaches were out there, but this is the second half, and that is Upchurch getting the kickoff with Durella across the 10, and Upchurch is tripped up as he crosses the 25-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, and Upchurch is a little slow in getting up himself. Ted Peterson is the one who put him down. It will be Craig Morton, number 7, the quarterback. We'll check to see whether or not it is Otis Armstrong. It is, not Rob Lytle. And Jim Jensen, the running backs.
Here's a shot of Armstrong, or not Armstrong, but Upchurch, our fine returner, getting knocked down. Looked like he hit on his back or on his hip. He's still on the ground, hasn't moved, but that was a nice, clean tackle, but it just put him in an awkward position as he came down. Looked like he might have twisted his back or knocked his wind out.
A cheer you hear is that Rob Lytle has now gone in, and Otis Armstrong, who was out on the field, has trotted off. Upchurch is the man. There is Lytle. Upchurch is the man, of course, with those 167 yards. He is quite a catalyst for this Denver team. And with those 167 yards, 87 of those went for a touchdown against the Steelers in their first game.
Here are the statistics on the first half, and I think the most remarkable thing is the yards passing there. 7 for Denver, 75 for the Steelers, the total yardage. Very one-sided, 183 to 44. As we said earlier, the Broncos were able to do one thing. That was to convert on 2 opportunities they had when turnovers gave them the ball. They were able to make short drives into the end zone. They tied this ball game 14 all at the half, but certainly in moving the ball, Pittsburgh Steelers have done a lot stronger job, Jim, and you'd have to say that if they can continue that pace, they can do it in the second half. But one thing we wonder about, what the altercation just before the half, all the fisticuffs and people on the field, and here's a picture of what we had just before halftime here, and I think there are 37 people out there shoving each other, trying to hold each other, and very emotional times.
We will check, of course, to see how Rick Upchurch is. We hope he's all right. Looks like he's dragging his left leg, doesn't it? Dalvin and Moses, both to the left. First down from the 27. Mort's going to throw on first down and going deep for Jack Dalvin. Allen is there and tips the ball as they both fall out of bounds. That is exactly how Craig Morton opened the ball game, by throwing long on first down. Nauer, Lassick, Montler, and Miner are in there. And let's take a check at right guard to see whether Howard, who was hit by Joe Green toward the end of the half and had to be helped off, he is back in all right. Greenwood, Green, Preston White, the front 4, Ham, Lambert, and Taves, the linebackers, Thomas and Allen, the corners, and Sheldon Edwards, the safeties. Mel Blunt not playing today because of a bad knee. Second down, 10. This is Armstrong, who's going back into the ball game. Oh, he's got some running room. And is dragged down by Ham, loses the football, and it's fumbled out of bounds. But they say the ball was dead at the 44-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's the biggest spurt of offense that the Denver Broncos have had all day. And now it is Armstrong who is down. Well, we've had a lot of people banged around on the field. You can see Armstrong laying down there. Watch number 30. Watch the block on Lawrence Taves by Jim Jensen. He just buries him here. Tom Glassick, number 62, Paul Howard, the guards on the outside. Glassick knocks down Lambert, and Otis Armstrong is just running free. And after Taves was buried, they brought in Robin Cole and sent Taves out. Robin Cole takes over on the right side. And Otis Armstrong is still down. Upchurch apparently took a shot, the helmet to the thigh, to the left thigh, and that was the injury that put him down. You can see them working on it there on the sideline, and that's a painful, probably a painful thigh bruise. Armstrong, who was out for a long while with a bad ankle, comes off holding that thigh area. First down for the Broncos at the 44-yard line, actually inside the 44-yard line. Riley Odoms is not in there. Egloff is a tight end. Rob Lytle runs for about a yard, and that is all. Backed down by Ernie Holmes. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is 11 Alive, WIC-TV Pittsburgh.
Back in. Second down and long. This is Keyworth. Breaks one tackle and then slowed up by Holmes. And he goes down inside the 40-yard line. And now it is Haven Moses who is beginning to jump around as though he twisted an ankle. On the inside, number 52, Glassick, is on Ernie Holmes. And watch the job he does here on Holmes to open up a hole on the backside. Excellent job. Claudio Minor coming over with a little tackle trap of his own. But it looks to me like the Denver Broncos are fired up in the early part of this second half. Moses comes out. Apparently he has shaken it off, but John Schultz has taken his place. It is third down, 5 to go from the 39-yard line. Tie ball game. Schultz right, Dalvin left. And now Morton looks up and sees something that he doesn't like. Or at least is not prepared to go against, so he's going to take the timeout and walk over and talk to Red Miller. 14-14 the score, 12:48 to go. We're in the third quarter at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado, where the sun is now beginning to sink below those Rockies. And it's getting a little cool out on the field, certainly not cool enough to bother the players. Well, we'll come back when play resumes in a moment, but now let's take time out from Denver.
This is our greatest sales success story, Dodge Aspen. Our four-door has more interior room than a four-door Ford Fairmont. Aspen seats 6, Fairmont 5. Our standard 6-cylinder engine with optional automatic transmission got better mileage ratings than a comparably equipped Fairmont. Aspen, another fine motor car from Dodge.
Dodge has put it all together. Dodge has got it all. Today's Dodge dealers got it all.
Cross Your Heart Bras, one of many popular products from Playtex, known and used by women the world over. Playtex is part of S-Mart, an American family of companies which also provides nourishing food products from Swift, fertilizers to make more food available, and energy to keep the wheels turning. S-Mart, providing over $5 billion worth of needed products annually for you and your world.
A young boy risks his life to search for his sister, kidnapped by Indians, in the exciting adventure movie Against a Crooked Sky, tomorrow at 9, 8 Central Time on NBC.
Third down and 5, and Haven Moses has checked back in. Bots out to the right, Lytle and Keyworth, the running backs, and Jack Dalvin comes to the left. Riley Odoms, the tight end, sets up on the right side. Horton looking, fires long, double coverage. No but Moses runs right into Tony Dungy, the sixth defensive back. Dungy was simply going for the ball, and Moses ran right up his back. And it's 4th down. Morton had time to throw the ball. He gets good protection here, and he just puts it down the middle about as far as he can get it off. Watch now what Moses does. That's Dungy running right along with him. Moses makes it look like he's going for the ball, but looked to me like he's just trying to hope for a penalty there, Jim. Lucky Dilts to kick the ball away. Jim Smith up on the 10-yard line. Dilts gets a very, very high kick. Smith puts up the fair catch hand, and that's the first fair catch of the year, back at the 5-yard line. And that's not a great spot to have one. That's not exactly a coach's dream. No fair catches all year long, and Smith makes one at the 5-yard line, with first down for the Steelers when we come back. It's still 14 all on this Christmas Eve in Denver. 12:34 to go, third quarter.
Look at that.
Schlitz Light. Schlitz Light beer has a third fewer calories than our other fine beer, and all the taste beer drinkers expect from Schlitz.
Is that what the gentleman always orders?
That's his beer. The only light beer with gusto.
We'll have 2 Schlitz Lights.
Beer drinkers know it took Schlitz to bring the taste to light.
All across our land, people know our brand. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark Plugs by AC. We'll help you smile throughout the miles. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark Plugs by AC. So when you want to go, we're the name to know. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Spark Plugs by AC. Firing spark plugs by
Thanks, AC.
You'll be enthralled every Sunday afternoon by the thrilling exploits of extraordinary performers like these when NBC's Sports World premieres on January 22nd.
Have you ever seen jousting? That's coming up on Sports World. Jousting in the south of England. Knights of old in armor. First down from the 5-yard line. Randy Grossman pops over to the other side. Steelers backed up. Franco Harris cuts back and gets some important yardage out near the 11-yard line. It'll be second down and 4 to go. Jackson made the stop along with Bill Thompson. We've talked all day about the battle in the middle between Carter and Webster. Early on in the game, Webster was winning the battle. Carter looked like he's driving the outside, getting the best of that one. Then Franco Harris messes everything up by cutting back to make an excellent game. Harris nears the 100-yard mark. Having an outstanding playoff game, he always does. One of the best running backs in playoff history. Rocky Flyer tries to pick up some yardage and wedges it out near the 15-yard line. And it'll be third down and short to go. About 2 to 3 yards to go. Davis and Alzado made the tackle. And now they're bringing in John Dredd as a 4th down lineman. Early in the practice yesterday, talking to the Denver Broncos, they said if we can shut off the running game with Pittsburgh Steelers and force them to pass, then we can control the game. Pittsburgh has been able to run the ball today, and the result is they've got 14 points on the board. It is 14 apiece. Third down and short. Franco Harris bounces off one and may have it. Franco Harris hit behind the line of scrimmage, bounced away. Swenson and Wright hit him. And he has got it, I believe, as Stallworth and Swan come out. They're moving the sticks. First down the Steelers. You wonder at the strength of a back like Franco Harris. Dwyer in motion, cuts in tight to be the lead blocker. That's Louis Wright that hits him first, and Wright is no slouch. He puts a stick on Franco, but Franco will not go down. Fights and fights until he gets that first down. Stallworth to the left and Swan to the right. Franco trying to get outside, and boy, they're all open. Alzado and company were there, Bernard Jackson, Bob Swenson. Next Sunday, we'll have to tell you the time because we frankly don't know whether Oakland will be playing at Pittsburgh or here in Denver. But NBC's got the championship game of the AFC next Sunday afternoon. Dick Enberg and Len Dawson will either be here or at Three Rivers Stadium for that one. It is second down and 12 to go. 10 minutes to go, third quarter.
Excuse me, a big play on that last one by Alzado. Some great speed and pursuit from the inside. He, of course, one of the Pro Bowlers from Denver squad.
Harry Bradshaw gets it away. That is Stallworth. Stallworth nowhere near first down, out near the 20-yard line. And it's third down. And about 7 to go. Bob Swenson, the linebacker, dropped off and made the stop.
Some real tough battles along the line of scrimmage. This one between Alzado and John Cope, two of the strongest men on the field. They're both capable of bench pressing over 500 pounds. And that's a fight. That's a fight if you ever saw one in there.
Third and 7 from the 19-yard line. Mile High Stadium is at its best right now. They're calling for the Orange Crush. Blitz is on. Gets it away. Grossman had to get it away so quickly. Grossman never had a chance to run his route. He looked up and the ball was past him. And so now Rick Engels, who has had one of his punts blocked today, that led to a touchdown, will come on to kick it away. And the Orange Crush, led by hobbled Randy Gradishar, has done its job. Bill Thompson goes deep. Remember, Upchurch had that bruised thigh and is knocked back in. Thompson will drop back into safety position as Engels stands on his own 4. They're coming. Gets it away. Just gets it away. The kicker goes down. Thompson has the ball, and he goes down. Ernie Pugh, the first to hit it. Ball at the 47-yard line. And Morton and company come out. 14-14 the score. And time has been called. 8:45 left on the scoreboard as far as the third quarter is concerned, as these two battle for the chance to meet Oakland for the championship.
Miracle. In every glass of Gallo Premium wine, like Hearty Burgundy, you can see the sun because Gallo cares. In every glass, you can see the good earth because Gallo cares. In every glass, the round and lovely grape because Gallo cares. You can see and taste the care that Ernest and Julio Gallo take. Go with the good wine. Go with Gallo Hearty Burgundy.
You are looking at a magic means of transportation. New Dodge Magnum XE. A splendid combination of touring car and luxury car. Consider Magnum XE's exciting update of the classic cord-type grille. Inside, a place of sophisticated instrumentation, electronic wizardry, snug, crafted, comfortable. See the new Dodge Magnum XE, a magic means of transportation.
It's the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, featuring the powerful Michigan Wolverines versus the high-scoring Huskies of Washington, January 2nd on NBC.
That's the game they play almost in Merlin Olsen's backyard, the Rose Bowl, Michigan and Washington, Monday the 2nd, right here on NBC. From the 47-yard line, Morton goes back to throw, has time, and now runs out and goes down and is sacked. Morton has been sacked quite a few times, 43 times before today's ball game, because he does show reluctance to get rid of the ball when there's nobody open. He'll take the sack. That's the first time he's been sacked today, though.
See the stunt on the inside, Joe Green going across, and then Furness coming to the outside, being picked up by John Keyworth, but Furness just won't quit. Keeps coming, Dwight White getting in there, and of course, means Joe Green pushing Howard back, and there are all kinds of Pittsburgh players on top of Greg Morton.
On the 38, it is now second down and 19. Play action pass. Morton delivers. Haven Moses. Touchdown, 35-yard line. Johnny Shell makes the stop. Second and 19, and they pick up more than enough for the first down.
Haven Moses has been making big catches all year. His average, as you see, 20 yards per catch. Morton has time, and that's critical here. Gives Haven Moses time to get open, puts it on the money. Haven up there to make a beautiful grab. First and 10, well into Steeler territory.
Now Dalvin and Moses both come to the left. Moses now in motion to the right. And Keyworth carrying the football, and he is picked up by Robin Cole, the #1 draft choice, the rookie, as he hits the line of scrimmage. And Keyworth picks up about 3 yards, just dragging Cole down to the 31-yard line. That's a pretty big linebacker to drag, too. Robin Cole, earlier in the year, pressed into service as a down lineman when they had their rash of injuries to their defensive line. Of course, this gentleman a little concerned along the sideline. I'm sure he had to do some talking about cooling his people down at halftime. They were pretty emotionally up. Lytle and Jensen now become the running backs. And Morton's back to throw again, has time again. Jensen, look out! There he goes! Jensen inside the 5. The best 5 of the day for the Denver Broncos. Allen made the tackle. Jim Jensen is not the guy you would pick to take that kind of pass down the middle, but does an excellent job of breaking into the open. Morton gets in the pass, just a little circle pattern out of the backfield. And there's Jack Ham trailing from behind. And finally, Jimmy Allen coming over from the far side to put him on the ground, but not until they got down to about the 2.5-yard line. This is the first time all day that Denver has driven. The blocked punt and recovered fumble gave them 14 points. It's 14 all. But Denver's driving. The drive started on their own 47-yard line. A big play, second down, 19. When Morton found Haven Moses, who's in motion right now. Otis Armstrong, who already has 1 touchdown, has denied another one here. Jack Ham leading the way. Also on that side, just now getting up, is Steve Burnett. L.C. Greenwood down at the bottom of that stack, too. They just buried everything over there. And Armstrong able to make about a yard on the play. It's going to be second, just about exactly a yard into that goal line. Mike Modler raises his hands. They can't hear the signal in their own huddle. Bob Lytle goes in. He has a touchdown. Keyworth, the other running back, they've got about a foot to go. Second down. Morton looking to throw. Out of the way. He had Riley Odoms open. That was a great play. Jack Lambert up, it looked like, in the middle to bat that one away. Big Jack using some of that athletic ability that he has and a quick read to knock away what could have been a touchdown pass there. Just on the left of your screen here, that's Ham on this side, but it's Lambert who just gets an eye on it there, reaches up high and bats it down. Third down to the 1-foot line. Jensen has come back in. It is Jensen and Lytle. And the Broncos are insisting that he took it in. And now cooler heads as Agloff is showing they've got that far to go. Here's another look at it. Little hand back in there. They're able to hold Jimmy Allen to the outside. Lytle just dives back to the inside. That's Lambert making the initial contact, keeping him out of the end zone. The Denver players shouting, and it looks like Coach Brett Miller agrees. They're spotting the ball about 2 inches from that goal line. Here's another look at it from the end zone. Lytle, as you see, taking the inside. There's Lambert down on his knees to shut him out, keep him away from that goal line. 4th down, inches to go. The big back Judson does not get it, I don't believe. Denver's denied. Pittsburgh is in the hole, but they have held. It is still 14 all. 4:48. They had a first down inside the 3-yard line, and then 4 cracks. Could not take it over. The Steeler iron curtain comes down. Great defensive goal line stand, and this is what defensive seasons are made of, and something the Pittsburgh Steelers have done over their years to be able to shut it off on the inside. Looks like Morton thought about bouncing it outside, and Jensen didn't really make an attempt to get inside. That was Jimmy Allen, number 45, whose job it is to pinch on the outside, the man responsible for stopping Jensen. Steelers are not out of the woods yet. Their backs are in their own end zone. They're lying at their own goal line. Rocky Blar tries to get outside and just does get outside the end zone.
Ball bounced loose down there, Jim, but the officials are saying that it was dead, and I don't think he got very far out of there.
Bill Thompson, Bob Swenson in on the stop. 4.5 minutes to go, third quarter, and it's all tied. Boy, NBC Sports can just sit back and gloat today. They've had two good ball games.
What a pair of ball games. And this one isn't over yet by any means.
Second down. Franco Harris tries to get outside and rolls to the 5, perhaps the 6. It'll be third down and 5.5 to go. Here's what happened earlier today. And Oakland's touchdown pass from Stabler and Casper was completed for the winning touchdown in the 6th period, the second overtime period. And the defending Super Bowl champions are still in it. They'll play next Sunday against one of these teams. Red Miller there with the headset on, one of the two with the headset on, hopes of the team and his team that they play. Now we'll look from behind Bradshaw and company on third down. Third and 6. Bradshaw rolling on himself. Bradshaw very close to the first down. Very close to the first down.
Looks like he's going to be a little short. They're going to mark it down right on that 10-yard line. He'll be about a yard short, Jim.
Bryson Manor rolled out to make the tackle. And now Rick Engels has the pressure on him.
And you've got to wonder if they're going to come after it. They came after his last punt. They blocked his first punt of the day. Let's see what they'll do right here. And they've got 10 men up.
10 men up front. Bill Thompson back only to zone 45. They anticipate excellent field position. Engels gets away a beauty. Backing Thompson up. Q is right there. Lets him get away, and now Thompson still lost the football. Fumbles it forward, and it's covered by the Broncos. That's about a 10-yard gain on the fumble. And that's Foley that recovered it.
Bill Thompson is not used to running back punts, but that'll scare any coach in the league to death.
Well, that's one of those breaks. Denver got it. The ball was fumbled forward, and they've got the ball again in excellent field position in this tie ball game.
Excuse me, do they serve clams here?
No, and they don't serve turkeys either.
Pardon, monsieur. It's your clothes. You'd look better in Hagar slacks. Or a Hagar sport coat and slacks. Even a Hagar vested suit. A variety of outfits at prices that are easy to swallow. Voilà, monsieur. Table for one?
Make that a table for two.
Hager, because looking good makes you feel good.
I've played out of some monsters before, but this one's something else. This monster is the Terex Titan, the world's largest truck. It's the big daddy in the Terex line of off-highway equipment. Equipment used worldwide for mining, logging, and heavy construction. Whether it's playing golf or moving mountains, you need to use the right iron. And baby, that's a lot of iron.
Well, Merlin and I will not only see a fine football game in the Orange Bowl, but at halftime they'll have an unusual Walt Disney pageant. A spectacle in light and sound, and the entire Orange Bowl audience, including you, will be enthralled. I'm sure the show will feature the Alice in Wonderland Fantasy and a segment from Pete's Dragon. Halftime of the Orange Bowl, Monday night, January 2nd. First down Denver at the 41-yard line. Lyle and Keyworth the setbacks, and Morton back to throw, gets it away, and as his man Otis has stepped out of bounds inside the 40 at the 37. A gain of 4, and it is second down and 6. Cole and Allen ran him out of bounds there.
Odom took that ball on a little square out, a little straight pattern. Morton having time to throw the ball, got it off, but it's a short gain. It'll be second and about 6.
Denver's already picked up more yardage in this quarter than they had in the entire first half. Halftime score was the same as it is now, 14 all. Moses in motion to the left. Morton hands to Jim Jensen, and Jensen, the big, powerful fullback, one-time tight end, Gets down to the 30-yard line. He's former Dallas Cowboy property. A big back out of Iowa in his second year.
Jim Jensen doing a fine job of power running, but it looked like they opened the hole by stealing Joe Green and Ernie Holmes to the inside. Holmes is supposed to cover for Green on the outside. Did not get over there to do it. That's L.C. Greenwood, also pinned down pretty good on the inside, and they're measuring now to see if they've got a first down over there. Appears to be just short. See the referee holding up about 6 inches of that chain. He'll lay it down, mark the ball carefully, and it'll be third and about 6 inches to go.
And again, while you were talking, we saw that sign that everybody here is wishing everybody around the country an orange Christmas instead of a white Christmas. On the 31-yard line, third down, and 6, 8 inches to go. Two tight ends, Odoms and Egloff in there. Armstrong has now come in to join Keyworth. All if that's Jensen still in there, along with Armstrong. And that is Greg Morton. Gets down to the 30-yard line. That's all he had to do for the first down. Morton tried to vault over his Bradshaw just for the touchdown, but there wasn't much vaulting to do. They rose up.
He didn't get quite as high as Terry did, I don't think, but he got enough, I believe, for the first down. Let's see, they're going to measure it.
Measure it again.
Morton's pointing down there as if to say we've got it, but several of the Pittsburgh players motioning earlier that they didn't have it. Let's let the officials decide it for us.
That's the first move. Just over the 30-yard line.
Not by much. Watch on the inside. They're trying to drive Joe Green out, trying to go right up over the little gap that he left there. Able to get a stalemate. In fact, driving back toward the end of it. Lambert pushing up in there, but enough for the first down.
Greg Morton going to throw on first down. Has a lot of time. Now delivers it to Odom. Touchdown! 30-yard pass to Ronnie Odom.
Morton going back, play action fake, and the offensive line gives him all the time in the world. Riley Odom breaking deep, gets free from Robin Cole, catches a perfect bullet right in the fingers, and watch, he drops the ball out of bounds. And look at that, look at Craig Morton. You don't think he's happy? That whole Denver team, this whole 75,000 people in this crowd are just elated at that touchdown.
Jim Turner has to try the extra point, which is good. Denver moves out in front for the third time today. The Steelers have always been coming from behind, and they'll have to again. Well, with 1:24 to go in the third quarter, it's 21-14 on a 30-yard pass from Riley Odom. Now, in the first half, the Steelers really shut down the Broncos' offense. In the second half, the Broncos have been able to move.
Very interesting, Jim. Apparently, the events of the half, or just prior to the half, perhaps some adjustments in the locker room at halftime. But you're exactly right. We've had 2 long drives from Denver, and really nothing in the way of a threatening drive from the Steelers in the second half. And certainly, first half difference in the game came with the capitalizing on the 2 breaks. First, the block kick, which they took in for a touchdown. Next, Franco Harris's fumble, which they took in for a touchdown.
Well, I can't help but remember that Pittsburgh dominated Cincinnati in the first half of that important game. They didn't dominate, the Broncos here scorers all the time, but then the Bengals came out and were able to move the football, and now the Broncos in the second half have come out and begun to move the football.
Certainly right about that. Franco Harris was over 100 yards at the half in that game, lost yardage in the second half, and it looks like the Broncos are really playing the best ball in the fourth quarter, third and fourth quarter here today.
Alvin Maxson gets the ball back out to the...
Worth asking for.
When I change my oil, I don't change my oil. I always ask for Pennzoil.
The Ask For motor oil.
The Broncos stand proudly over Mile High Stadium, and at the moment, the Broncos have the 3-point lead and will kick off. Jim Smith dropping back to the 6-yard line. 15, 20. Cuts inside a block. 30. Give him excellent field position as Smith bites out near the 40-yard line. And the Steelers with 7:05 to go will have excellent field position. Rob Nairn made the tackle, along with Jim Jensen, who is operating on special teams as well as running the football.
Coming into the game, Jim, it was Denver that had the great reputation for running back kicks, but it's certainly Pittsburgh who has benefited most from run back position today.
And we'll point out that Rick Upchurch was hurt in the third quarter and has not been available since. Swan to the right, Stallworth to the left. And Bradshaw back to throw with time, throws it, and it is almost caught, but not quite. Then Swan inside the 45-yard line. Swan makes a specialty of those diving comeback catches. But that time it didn't work.
Lynn Swan has to be one of the great big game players and big play players in the game. Down, breaks in. He's coming back to the ball. Ball thrown just short. Cannot quite get control of it.
Second down 10 from the 39-yard line.
Frightening thing on that play was that Bradshaw had so much time to throw. Denver's going to have to put some more pressure on him or they're going to have trouble shutting him down here.
Less than 7 minutes to go. Bradshaw has time again. It is intercepted by Jackson. Jackson inside the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10. He's into the 8. Mike Webster knocks him down. First and goal to go, Denver. This interception of the year for Jackson. He returned one all the way against Baltimore. And now the Orange Crush gives this offense a big lift.
Very unhappy Chuck Noll talking to Terry Bradshaw on the sideline. Bradshaw fires this ball late. He has good protection. And there's a great leaping stab. Hit it with one hand, picked it up as it fell. And boy, can he run with that football. He looks like a halfback out there.
Lytle and Keyworth the setback. Denver trying to put this ball game a little bit more out of reach. They've been dogged by the Steelers all afternoon. Lytle has scored one touchdown, gets down to the 7-yard line, and that is all. A gain of 2. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is 11 Alive, WIC-TV Pittsburgh.
Vernon Olsen, second down goal to go at the 7.
And this crowd is on its feet. They want a touchdown. They want that 10-point edge instead of the 3 that they've got.
Denver would like a rematch with Oakland. They beat them one time, they lost to them one time. And Otis Armstrong is hit down as he gets to the line of scrimmage. And now it is third down from the 7-yard line. A field goal would help, but that would mean a touchdown to erase the lead. What the Broncos want is a touchdown. And here comes Rob Lytle in with a play from Red Miller.
You've got to wonder what kind of play he's bringing in there. Looking up the clock, 5:40 remaining in the game. Certainly if they can put a 7-pointer or a 3-pointer on the board at this point, they gain real advantage because time is slowly running out on the Steelers.
Alvin and Moses both go left. Odom set up on the right side. And Morton back to throw, looking left, runs out of places to look, now has lots of time. Hand comes up, he looks it in the end zone. Caught! David Moses!
The official is saying it went off the hands of one receiver into the hands of Haven Moses.
So that's no good.
Hit by Jack Dalman, so they won't allow it.
They will not allow it. There's 2 offensive men. That's what he's saying. Let's watch it again.
You'll be able to see it. It's Jack Dalman, number 82, who tips the ball. Eventually, Haven Moses is the one that caught it. Morton doing a fine job of moving around, looking for someone to get it off to. Finally decides he better get rid of it before L.C. Greenwood eats his lunch there. There's the ball.
Dalvin.
Touched right there.
That's right, Dalvin and then Moses.
What a great job of pulling that ball in by Moses.
All right, now we come in for an apparent field goal attempt The 6 points would mean that the Steelers would have to get a touchdown. A field goal would not tie it up. A lot of time left. It is a field goal attempt, and it is a good field goal attempt of 24 yards. A toe of Turner gives the Broncos a 6-point lead. It is 27-21, but there's an awful lot of calls recently. But here's one they call accurately. Watch the ball tipped right there by Dalvin into the hands of Moses. Take it back a little bit. Well, I'm going to look again. Is that Edwards' hand above Dalvin? Well, is that Edwards' hand above Dalvin? Well, take a look again. I mean, that's a slow thing we have to look at 3 or 4 times, and the officials have to make a judgment, but I'm just wondering.
Pretty hard to tell, but it is awfully close.
Well, there's another one, folks. Maxim in the end zone will not bring it out. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh at the 25:04 left. At the moment, that play can be forgotten if the Steelers don't come back and score a touchdown. If they do, that play will go down along with a few others this year that will be remembered. Jim Smith has been the big man returning kicks today and punts with 111 yards. That's what Merlin was talking about. How well he and the Steelers have returned kicks today. Well, the game is in the half. 5:04 to go. Bradshaw throwing from his own 20-yard line has Franco right out here. Now gives it to him, and Franco's going to be knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. Bradshaw's gone so late. He was out there dangling around for a long time, and Terry's looking downfield. By the time he looked to the secondary receivers, so did the linebackers of the Denver Broncos.
I'm sure Franco saying, please, don't throw me another one like that. I don't want to get a kiss from Jackson again. Super play from Tom Jackson.
2nd down and 12 to go from the 18-yard line. Bradshaw, blitz was on, Jackson coming. Bradshaw for Freddie Cunningham, cannot get it, and it sounds in front of Bill Thompson. That's the 42-yard line. And now it is 3rd down and 12 to go from the 18.
Joe Rizzo, number 59, running right along with Cunningham, able to keep Bradshaw from getting an open shot at him. I think Bradshaw knew it was not possible to get it to him, threw it far enough in front that it couldn't be intercepted. I wonder if Oakland is on its way back to Oakland from Baltimore, or whether they hung around to watch this. Well, no matter whether they're watching or whether they're getting reports, you know that they've got to be among the most interested spectators anywhere in the country.
13 of 29 for Bradshaw for 140 yards. Not an outstanding day. He needs an outstanding play here at 3rd and 12. Bradshaw, this was on, gets the ball to Cunningham. Cunningham trying to get the first down and does, I believe, at the 30-yard line.
Let's see where they mark it. That's the same play they got a big first down with earlier in the 4th quarter. It looks like they're going to have to bring in the tape to measure it. Nope, they're just calling it a first down. Big play.
First down at the 30-yard line. Cunningham, remembers, the one with tonsillitis in the hospital 3 nights, fainted on the airplane, dropped the ball after catching in the open field in the first half, but has come back with 2 big plays here in the second half. 3:37 left. First down, Pittsburgh at the 30. They're down by 6. Franco Harris. Jackson almost made a super play. Harris is in trouble, and it's Jackson who comes back to get him. Jackson down, came back to get him. And that's the 2nd time he's thrown him for a 2-yard loss.
And it looks like Jim Clack is on the ground, one of the starting guards. Franco trying to utilize his great cutback ability. Saw that they had given him some great inside-out pursuit. Alzado over there. Jackson almost made a big play on him. He decided to cut it back, ran back into the waiting arms of Tom Jackson.
You know, Merlin, injury is not the name of the game, but I cannot remember so many times out in recent games and recent years that I have seen where so many people have been down, where actually timeouts are required and assistance is needed.
I think I'd have to agree with you, Jim, and it's evidence of the type of hitting that's going on the field. You can hear it all the way up here. Little shot at Jimmy Turner, who hasn't been involved in the hitting, but sure has been responsible for some of the most important points in this game today. But I would have to agree with you. And of course, the roughest of the action has been down in the pits. That's what Red Miller said at the top of our show. This game is going to be won by the matchup with the big men. We'd like to win those fights down in the pits.
Well, we got a moment here. Let's talk about our good friend John Brody, the bowling expert. Have you heard about his new show?
A dynamic duo.
Dynamic duo. Starts on Sunday, January 22nd, with all the top bowlers in the country. Top bowlers such as Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays, Arnold Palmer and Raymond Floyd, Jim Brown and Jim Taylor, and Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson. First prize, $20,000. They are all there, and Brody becomes a bowling commentator. That ought to be fun.
Well, with that kind of people to visit with, that surely would be an interesting assignment.
The year of the crush. Let's look at some of these. The red and orange Super Bowl. Orange airplanes. Orange telephones that you can't get because of the demand. It's well into 78 before you can get them. Orange T-shirts. I'm dreaming of an orange Christmas. It is orange, orange, orange. And that is Rick Upchurch. He may be hurt, but
he's still in the game. He's alert.
They're looking at Flack's right leg now as we take a look around. Let's see. Pittsburgh may lose, but the Bionic beat Steel. The Broncos eat Steel. That looked like an eye for a minute.
Now, there's a man who's trying to get his team aroused on the sideline. I tell you, it hurts them to lose Flack in there. Mullins will come in on the other side now. Step back into his position. Sam Davis be in there at the other guard spot. Well, that's great. Flack is moving under his own power. You don't want to see a player hurt. You really don't.
Flack goes off. Mullins comes in. The situation is second down and 11 to go from the 29-yard line. And there's the score, and there's the time. Winner faces Oakland. Bradshaw gets it across the middle and out near the 40-yard line, and near a first down is number 28, Alvin Maxson, who is into the ball game. And that will be third down and about a foot to go for the first down. Rizzo and Swenson made the stop of Maxson. And now they're bringing in Blyer and Finney.
And Flack coming back into the game. He didn't get much of a rest out there, did he? Big third down. They've got to have this to keep it alive.
2:27 left. 27-21 Denver. Uh-oh, someone may have moved. Flags go down. It could be third down and 5.5. Looks like Pittsburgh jumped offside. Looks like a man on the right side went too quickly.
The right wing, I believe that was Mullins, 72 out there in the wing position. Got a little jump on that count. That's going to march him back 5 yards. Interesting, Jim, that the pressure in this game, as it falls down near the 2-minute mark, falls squarely on the shoulders of the Orange Crush defense. Most people would agree that they are more than anything responsible for the success of this team this year.
84, offense, illegal motion.
Randy Grossman. He must have been on the outside there.
When Pittsburgh lost to Denver earlier, they had 12 penalties. Already they've had 9 today.
It's been a big part of their season. They've been hurt by penalties throughout the year.
Third down, 5.5 to go. Big play. Bradshaw has to go for it. Throws, has his man, flies. The flag goes down. Blyer has the first down at the 41-yard line, and a flag was thrown from far downfield. Jackson made the stop.
Looked like it was thrown on Jackson for interference, but of course the pass was completed, so it'll be ignored.
That'll be a first down, and Bradshaw gets the big one. 2:07 left. Defensive holding, 53.
Radishar. Wasn't on Jackson then, was it?
No one's going to leave this stadium. They know if Denver allows Pittsburgh to score, Pittsburgh with the extra point can win it all. 2:07 left.
Get down to where there's not much time left in that season.
First down from the 41. Swan to the right, Stallwood to the left. And Bradshaw back to throw. Bradshaw lets it go, and it's intercepted by Jackson again. And he's back down inside the 35. Tom Jackson's second interception of this quarter.
There it is, the elation of victory, and you saw it just earlier when the camera was on Bradshaw, the tragedy of throwing that pass. A 2-minute warning, actually it's 1:57. Denver's got the football, will try to run it out and go on to host the championship.
50 years ago, you could always tell a truck driver by his arms. Steering depended entirely on muscle power. Then, pioneers like Sperry Vickers applied hydraulics to the problem of steering heavy trucks. And suddenly men could build bigger trucks than ever before. The Terex Titan, world's largest truck, over 60 feet long. Fully loaded, it weighs over 1 million pounds. Because of Sperry Vickers hydraulics, you can steer the Titan almost as easily as the family car. The Titan carries iron ore for Kaiser Steel Corporation, 350 tons at a time, 30 times as much as the giants of yesterday. Now, in 1,000 different industries, fluid power from Sperry Vickers is making man more productive than he dreamed possible 50 years ago. Another example.
Jim Simpson, Merlin Olsen, but the name that means everything in Denver is Tom Jackson. Duckbo, Terry Bradshaw, this conflict on the far side. They'll try to run it out with 1:57 to go. Lytle carrying the football and is knocked down by Ham, who's the man up top. And immediately Pittsburgh is going to call timeout, hoping that they can get about a minute left on the clock with which to try to pull this out. Another score by Denver would be devastating for the Steelers and wrap it up. But there have been turnovers before in the game of football. 1:50 to go, and they've taken more timeouts. So, while watching Tom Jackson, he will take more timeouts. Broncos 27, Steelers 21. Some years. And at the moment, the Orange crush the defense. The Denver Broncos have done what they've done all year long, preventing another team from scoring in the fourth quarter, allowing only 17 points. As you see, there are 2 timeouts remaining for the Steelers. It is second down 11, 1:50 left. And Morton back to put it up. Going long in the end zone. Now and there. Touchdown, Jack Dalvin. That's it. What a play. What a pass. Woo. One look at Morton. I will tell you this story. Unexpected, put it up. Red Miller, Craig Morton happy. Craig Morton had the last win over Pittsburgh, went down to Dallas and got married. Tonight, they'll go home and celebrate and get ready to host the championship against Oakland next week, barring a miracle. As it is now 33-21, and Turner trying to make it 34-21 with 1:44 to go. And he does. On the scoreboard, it says ticket office opens at 9 a.m. Monday morning for approximately 600 single ticket sales. They're looking forward to hosting the championship. Jack Dalvin and Craig Morton hooked up on this clinching pass.
Morton surprising everyone with his pass. Jack Dalvin underneath it. Excellent, perfect pass. Great catch. What a way to finish up a ball game.
And on the field, Paul Howard is talking to Mean Joe Green. They're talking over what happened. Howard and Green shook hands on the field. They're now parting. Remember, there was a shot to the ribs of the chest of Howard that put him down. He went over and shook hands with Mean Joe Green. And that's what should happen on the football field.
A lot of class on both sides. And I know that, interesting to me, Jim, that both coaches had the kind of discipline that allowed them to control the action in this second half. If they didn't have it, things could have got out of hand easily. Also interesting to note, the big difference in the game is turnovers. 4 turnovers by Pittsburgh. They've had 5, at least 5 or more in 5 games this year. That was the story of their early season, and it's killed them again today.
Well, they led the league in turnovers, and that's such a good thing to lead. 49 of them. They've had 5 today. Jim Allen's not going to bring it out. 1:44 to go. Is this the 15th game of the season for Pittsburgh? There have been 54 turnovers. Red Miller, age 50 for so many years, an assistant coach, finally got his chance. He said he and his wife wondered if it would ever come, but he knew he could do it. Took a 9-5 team, added a few players, including Craig Morton, who just threw that touchdown pass, and they're going to host the AFC Championship a week from tomorrow against Oakland, which in the 6th period of play today beat Baltimore 37-31. Bradshaw forced the pass. Look at Alzato's there. This is Maxson at the 30, and he's not going anywhere. The orange crushed it there. 1.5 minutes to go. Certainly has been an interesting season for the Steelers, Jim. I know they're disappointed. Their fans are disappointed. But just to be one of 8 playoff teams is quite an honor, and they have played well today. The old story, as you said, though, Merlin, there's been turnovers that have hurt, including the Jackson 2 interceptions. Maxson trying to get away from Jackson and cannot. 1:04 to go. And this town of Denver has been psyched up all week long. The silence was deafening this morning. Nobody wanted to say a word. And now, happily for them, they've got to go through the whole thing again until next week.
You don't think they're going to have a celebration in this town tonight, do you, Jim?
The Steelers are a ball club that has more people on injured reserve than they have had in some time, and they just got their front 4 back intact today. But the Denver ball club has been the ball club that in the second half has taken it to them. It was 14 all. And they've outscored them 20-7 here in the second half. And whereas the offense could not get on track in the first half, the Denver offense has dominated the second half. 3rd down, 9 to go from the 21. Bradshaw back to pass. Gets it away behind Grossman, who takes a shot from Bill Thompson. It is 4th down. Well, Oakland played here and won. Denver played at Oakland and won. And they'll try for a 3rd time next Sunday. They're up because the scoreboard says we can't hear you.
It would be appropriate to thank our producer, George Finkel, and our director, Teddy Nathanson, for the great job they've done of keeping us in the groove today during the whole program, Jim.
It has been quite an afternoon. What a way to spend a Christmas Eve. 54 seconds left, 4th down. Last gasp for the Steelers. Get it away to Randy Grossman. He's got to get the 1st down, and Grossman gets out of bounds, but I don't know if he got to the 1st down mark.
I don't think he did.
If he did not, he simply turns the ball over there to Denver. And it belongs to Denver. Grossman got out of bounds too early. Well, it wasn't too many years ago the same team was being enacted in Three River Stadium. They went on to win back-to-back Super Bowls, and now Denver has the same kind of hysteria, mania, hoping they can do the same thing. If we have time, we will go into the locker room once this game is over. 47 seconds left. Oh, Well, it depends on whether or not they take any more timeouts, really.
Well, I say, there haven't been many people move out of this stadium. They want to see it all.
Morton falls down. Nobody's going to touch him. They probably have time for one more if they do not call time.
They've called a timeout, I believe.
They did call time.
Me and Joe said we got to take our last. They've done.
With 43 seconds left. Well, we can look ahead to the championship game a week from tomorrow. We can look ahead to the Super Bowl, but then we can look ahead to the 1978 season, which will be an entirely different season. An extra wild card team, 16 regular season games instead of 14. And these same two ball clubs are liable to be back at the same spot next year fighting for the same thing.
So you don't think they're happy down on the sideline? Godwin Curry?
As contrasted to Denver, on the other side, Pittsburgh. Morton falls down again. Clock is running. 36, 35. First time ever in the playoffs. In their 18th year of existence, the Denver Broncos have made it to the first round and will host the championship against Oakland 1 week from tomorrow. You'll see it on NBC. Craig Morton, the Orange Crush, they did a magnificent job. They're leaving the field with 14 seconds to go. It is over. Denver has won.
Outstanding plays by the Denver defense, by Craig Morton. But more than anything, it was Pittsburgh's errors, the turnovers, the fumbles, the 2 interceptions by Jackson that really spelled the doom of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There's the story, 34-21. A couple of field goals to make it 27-21, and then when they thought they were running out the clock, a bomb to Jack Dalvin. And it is all over. The Orange Crush has done it. And our congratulations, of course, also to the Pittsburgh Steelers as Terry Bradshaw disappeared from sight. It's been a long season for them. They were given extra life. Joe Green said they thought they could play better, but Denver played better today than did Pittsburgh.
Denver matches up with the Oakland Raiders in what should be a real shootout here next week. The Raiders won at home. Denver won here. Now it's going to be 1-1 and question mark. Who's going to come up with that big victory?
Well, you talk about home field advantage. Mile High Stadium for 75,000 people gives you some kind of emotional uplift. And now we can fill in, because before we said next Sunday, Oakland versus question mark. We filled in the blanks. It's Oakland and Denver at the championship game next Sunday afternoon. A big game today by Craig Morton. But again, you've got to say,
there you get an idea.
Tom Jackson did an outstanding job. Red Miller and company are happy. And Merlin Olsen and me, Jim Simpson, as we take a look at Red Miller and the Broncos, say goodbye to you. And our thanks for listening. It's been quite an afternoon. Overtime, Oakland beat Baltimore. Regulation time, Denver takes Pittsburgh. For Merlin Olsen, here's something we'd like to say. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you all. And to all, good night. Reminding you that a super weekend is coming up with basketball on Saturday the 31st, Notre Dame and Kentucky at Louisville at 4 o'clock. And on Monday, the 2nd, the Rose Bowl and the Orange Bowl. Check your local listings for time in your area. That's all right here on NBC. Our staff has enjoyed our stay in Denver. It's been quite an experience to be here with the Orange Crush. And of course, to those of you back in Pittsburgh, we say the team did well. We congratulate them, but the glory goes today to 2 teams, Oakland and Denver. And here in the city of Denver, they're saying one word, and it's a color, orange. Merry Christmas, everybody, from NBC Sports.